Hello, it's us, and Karina is here to literally save the live stream, and she offered last night. Ecamm's a little bit of a quirky person, and so it's harder to add people to Ecamm and react to something. So we're here in Restream, and Karina is one of the most selfless creators here on YouTube. And if you haven't already subbed to her, please sub to her. And if you don't mind, um, if you're in my chat, cool. If you can pull up her stream too and mute it so you can give her the watch hours as well. She's had enough followers for a while to be monetized, and she has been going through it and supporting people and just doing
Hi,
lots
everyone.
of things. I know I'm like gonna let you. I'm not gonna cry right now, but like Karina's amazing. I'm gonna let her introduce herself, but if you could really quickly pull up her stream, mute it, or if you're on her stream, hello, I'm DC, mute my stream, and so we can give her the watch hours. We're gonna be doing the final podcast streaming of this fluffery between Avi and Jessie Lee Ward, and I'm gonna pass the virtual microphone over to Karina and let her introduce her incredible self to you.
Hello. Hello. Now, hi guys. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Karina. I am a bilingual content creator here on YouTube, primarily for anti-MLM or anti-multi-level marketing. I have been busting my butt as of the last couple of weeks to get monetized, which is what DC was talking about earlier. And like, I'm really trying to make my full-time job so I can get the information out in Spanish. And the only thing is, we had like a little hiccup. I didn't know that your hours expire after 365 days. And some of my most viewed videos are like the very first videos that I put up. So all those hours that I already had kind of like disappeared. And so I'm kind of having to like combat the hours that are slowly disappearing. But I'm also a plant mom. You might be able to tell from the back. I have also an actual child. He's 4 years old. He's in bed already, but I'm a wife and a mom, and I am very spicy. So if you have your kids still up, it's 11 here where we're at. But, you know, if you have your kids, I suggest headphones because I am very much known for not holding back, especially when it comes to this particular person, Jessie Lee Ward. I tend to get very, very spicy. And this whole situation just has me all messed up, just like everybody else. So yeah, I'm primarily here for moral support for DC, but I'm not responsible for my face expressions or anything like super spicy that comes out of my mouth. So
I love it. I think it's the perfect, like, final stream to do for this. I'm really grateful that Karina was willing to like join me for this, and she was trying to help me last night because I think I listened back through my stream and I'm like weeping for 2 hours straight, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like it's real people and it's a real family that Avi has broken up, and Jessie Lee Ward too. And I keep getting comments about, oh, this is more Avi's fault than Jessie Lee Ward. It's a shit show. It's a shit show where real people are involved, and the people that are being hurt are Avi's wife and his 3 kids. And the people responsible are freaking Avi And the little digs that we keep seeing from Jessie Lee on all of her streams, and someone was asking, "Well, what do you mean she's being mean to him?" They're practicing Jewish in their religion, and Jessie Lee's always talking about how she's going to be like a perfect Jewish wife, and she's doing all this stuff to accommodate Avi, and the overt displays of affection on the streams, and there's more to even cover and tell you, but we've covered it in the live streams, and I'm we're not here just to like bully, and but we're not here to bully at all. Somebody needs help, which is Avi's wife and his kids. And so we're going to be sharing the GoFundMe like we did last stream. We've linked it in the description. I've linked it on the first two videos. If there's any mods here, you can use hash !Go, and we will, let's see if this works. Nightbot. And it's gonna take you to the GoFundMe. Don't feel bad if you can't donate. Spread the word. But there's something that Sharon Says So talks about on her channel, and the power of the small thing, just, voices coming together, and even like 25 cents or 50 cents. It's don't like think in your mind like, oh, my contribution doesn't matter. It's also Avi's wife and his family can see all of the donations and all the support from people, and it's not just like, oh, my donation was this small. There's hundreds of people who have said like, we stand with you. So we stand with you and your family. And I think Aaron and Julie Joe are going to do a stream tomorrow, and I think that's going to garner a lot of attention. But I'm long-winded, y'all know, and I hope that Karina's spice is here to stay for the for the whole stream. And I'm just like, I'm trying to say, like, we cover a lot of stuff on my channel. Karina covers a lot of stuff on her channel, and the way that MLMs impact families and friends and break those relationships. And then the reason we even found out about this is because we are covering unethical behavior in MLMs and unethical business practices, unethical recruiting practices. Jessie Lee Ward is very influential, and then we like ran into the situation and it literally imploded before our eyes, and we found this freaking podcast platforming their relationship as something to follow. And I don't know, like, Karina, you've seen the first two parts of the podcast. Like, what went through your mind when you saw that there's a podcast, Happy Couple Spotlight, Jessie Lee Ward and Aviram?
First of all, I want to be very, very honest. I missed the first part, and I'm one of those people that I don't watch it live, chances are I might not watch it. But I did watch the second part yesterday. I was in the chat. You guys saw me.
Yeah.
And I think it's disgusting. Number one, the podcaster should have done their research better. Because after all, she is a matchmaker. You would think that she would put a little bit of research into that, which, by the way, I found it very very early 1990s or 1980s, that she only matches men and women. It's ma'am, it's 2023. That's first things first. And then I also thought, like, did they not think that we were all gonna find this? Did they did they not think that we were gonna take the time to listen to this after everything they've done so publicly to the wife and the children, and just all the things that Jessie Lee herself has done? I mean, she's broken up families allegedly before, not just necessarily because of the partner or whatever, but like separated grandparents from their grandchildren and whatever the reason was, that doesn't matter. The issue is she's right there in the middle. She's a common denominator. And not just that, but she's like physically put people into danger and stuff. I think that's why I find it so important to talk about this. It's, first of all, they should have never been on that Happy Couples podcast to begin with, because they've only been together for like what, months, not even a year.
Yeah.
Who told you were an expert? Also, the way she brings up his children, I just will never understand how he can let her do that. Like, okay, you have me, stop disrespecting my children. At the very least, if he doesn't care about his wife,
right,
stop disrespecting my children. And then just, I don't know, she's just a whole shit show. And I am very passionate about letting people know who she really is, because she's damaged so many people, so many relationships, has allegedly scammed a lot of people out of their money. And she's just a whole character. And I used to think like, oh, she's just doing this for the attention. She's just, but no, I legitimately think that she's a horrible person now. And I feel like for me, I don't wish anyone any ill will. Obviously, I hate that she's going through what she's going through with her health. However, my compassion, my understanding for her has ran dry. Like
Right.
I cannot, especially after this, after reading the thing on the GoFundMe about the children and the wife. I just can't imagine myself in that situation and my husband acting that way. Like I don't know what I would do. So it's a very sensitive topic as a mom, as a wife. Like if I saw myself in her shoes, in the wife's shoes, I don't know what I would do. And I kind of touched on this a little bit. I did a stream earlier today around noon
Yeah.
where we were looking over some of her older content. And she like said that she was like a woman's woman and yada yada yada. And I was just like, are you really though? Are you
Mhm.
really? Because look at what you're doing now. So I don't know. I just think they should have never been on there to begin with. And I don't think they are together for the right reasons. I think she just saw like an opportunity of like taking something that wasn't her. And you can argue here all you want. Hers, you can argue all you want that people can't steal people from people or whatever, but she sure enough didn't do anything to stop the situation. And I'm not saying it was just her fault. It was definitely his fault too. However, I feel like and I said this in my video earlier today, as a decent human being, what you do is, hey, get whatever you have going on over there sorted out, and then we can come back together like later. We can talk about this again in the future. But
Yeah.
like any decent person, any decent woman would have been like, listen, I don't want to be stuck in the middle of that. Go take care of whatever it is you got to do over there, and then we can reconvene. We can talk about this again. But she gave no fudge, and now this is where we are, and it's disgusting and it's horrifying, and it's, I think one of the things that doesn't fit through my mind, and I'm sorry that I'm being so long winded, but it's like she was talking in the video that we were reacting to today earlier was she said, I grew up without a father. And it just doesn't compute. Like if you grew up without a father yourself, why would you do this to children, especially such small children,
Yeah, and
you know?
to have no empathy, and then
Yeah.
to use his kids as pawns and pieces in her live streams. The clips that we have from some of her what she has said, children are not content.
Yeah.
Children are not strategic pawns to punish you and the person you used to have a relationship with and that you're still married to. That's my
Yeah.
like I, I just it's mind boggling and again, she said her core value is kindness. Like the thing that matters to her the most is being
Where?
kind. And that's not what we see here. And so we're going to continue to share the GoFundMe in the chat. It's not a pressure to make y'all support or anything. Please don't give any super chats to me if you think about like, oh, I want to donate. Honestly, like I'd rather y'all
Yeah.
go and it's from her local community. There's people and there's other like behind the scenes there's a ton of stuff going on, and we wanted to make sure that the right people set up the GoFundMe and that it was with her community and stuff.
Yeah.
And so when we're sharing it, it's a trusted link for y'all if you
Yeah.
can. And if you can't, just knowing and knowing that they watch all these streams and y'all
Yeah.
can know like the support that y'all share in the chat is like it lifts the family spirits who's going through this stuff and knowing that they have support and that people see through this stuff that Avi and Jessie Lee Ward are doing. And so
Absolutely.
it's multifaceted. It's not just about money. Just I want you to know, like, please don't feel bad if you can't give. Please don't feel bad if you feel like, oh, my dollar's not going to count. The comments, the support do count, and going and like having the family go and see like the messages and just the people supporting, like it's huge. It's huge. Serious.
Yeah, do what you can, donate what you can, and if you can't, maybe share the link if you're comfortable with it. And if not, you know what? It's fine. We're gonna do as much as we possibly can as creators. I also share the link in my video, and I will continue sharing it on my Instagram as well. But if you can't donate, listen, I get it. Things are rough. I
Yeah.
can only donate like $10, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Do what you can if you can, and if you can't, that's okay too. Don't feel pressured. We don't keep sharing the link to force you into anything. Do whatever makes you feel comfortable, and we're all on the same boat, so don't feel bad if you can't donate for a reason or another.
Yep. Seriously. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is, let me just put it on the
Worth
screen.
getting into.
All right, we're going to make it like this and they can be on the bottom. So this is the cover of this stream, but this is the podcast audio. This is the best way I could do it. Oh, I need to put the chat on the screen so we can all see everybody. Okay, chat's on the screen now. Karina's chat's going to be on the screen. My chat's going to be on the screen. We're all going to get to hang out and have whatever kind of time we're going to have tonight. If
Shout out to Lushy for being the best mod ever.
Yes, seriously. Thank you so much. The best detective, the best mod. You're seriously incredible. And thank you to all the other mods who help keep the chat respectful and as respectful as we can be. It's gonna get spicy. We have obviously I've got big feelings about this. Lots of y'all do too, and thank y'all for whoever's already donated. Thank you so much. We're here again. This is the last stream. I think it's important to cover the entirety of this fuckery because of what they say that's directly contradicted in what they've shown on live. Last night, Jessie Lee said she's not an emotional person, and that she's never had an outburst ever in any of her relationships. And then she said, "Oh wait, I have with you." And I messaged that to Erin, and she's like, "What is happening?" Also, I know, Karina, we weren't able to see the first part, but the first 20 minutes of this podcast that we watched, Avi admitted to being on Bumble, like, for so many hookups and stuff like that. Like
Isn't he still on there allegedly? I mean,
yeah, I mean, if you can send me a screenshot of that, if someone can find that, I'm not on Bumble, but if you can,
me either, but I heard, through the grapevine that he
yeah.
allegedly might still be on there. So,
Yes,
that's your man, Jessie Lee. That's your man.
Yep. And if you're wondering, this is live on Karina's channel, who's an incredible creator, and you're gonna see our combined chats on the screen. So if you are wondering, hey, I don't see that comment in this chat, it's because it's over here. So the beauty of Restream is that you get to support your creator, which please support Karina, and you get to hang out and see everyone's comment and stuff. So
don't forget to like both streams, y'all. It only takes a second. We appreciate you, and I love you extra if you do that. But if you don't want to, that's okay. Okay, we're not gonna force you to do anything.
It's not okay. Dictatorship tonight. Please go like Karina's stuff. She's had some good growth, and recently we're trying to get her monetized in her watch hours, and really, like, if you are like, but I want to stay in this chat, it's okay. Pull up her stream and mute it, and then you can still hang out, and she gets the credit. She gets the credit for the watch hours.
Thank you for watching my Spanish video, Karen. Appreciate you.
Yes, and okay, sorry, sidetrack. Let me just sidetrack for a second. The Spanish, like the community that Karina is able to speak to because she speaks Spanish is incredible, because Young Living is specifically targeting them. Herbalife is specifically targeting that. They say this in their Zooms.
doTERRA.
doTERRA specifically targeting them. They talk about like, oh, this is a perfect community for us to go after, and Beachbody targeting. And so we need incredible people like Karina in this space.
Thank you.
And like the value, like I'm not trying to blow smoke up Karina's butt, even though I'm on the second, below her in the chat. But seriously, like you don't know until you learn more. And like the stuff I've learned from Karina, just like the stuff I've learned about the Jewish community from Rivka, the more you can connect with people and learn, the more you can see the advantages that are being taken of these communities. And these big multi-level marketing companies are just, I don't know, bleeding them dry. And it's enraging for me as someone who's just learned about it, and Karina as being part of that community, and that she's giving a voice and helping to like speak up and educate people that don't have access, because I'm not able to. I only speak one language. I know I'm just
Lushy.
awful. So what is it? I think this is my 11th Karina video I put. Jessica is doing the
Appreciate you.
most. Jessica's doing the most. So just I'm not trying to like, if you don't know Karina, you should. If you don't know all of the history of the stuff, Karina's a really great follow. She's a really great watch, and help her with her watch hours.
I can give you a little teaser to one of my latest video. It's a bilingual doTERRA stream that I did with my friend Gladys, which cool. Shout out to Gladys. She is a anti-MLM bilingual creator as well on Instagram, and also shout out to Blanca. That's my girl. They both create stuff in Spanish and English as well. But my last stream is about an immigration lawyer who helps immigrants with their documents while simultaneously recruiting them for doTERRA. So if you want anything interesting to watch, and it's in Spanish and in English, that's one of like my last videos. So
heck yes. That's incredible. All right. Content warnings, Jessie Lee Ward. If this is going to make you upset, it's a lot of
take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. Pop out. Seriously. Yes. Don't stay here if you're going to get slimed. I mean, we'll get slimed for you. Okay. Yeah. So here we go.
That's our job.
Yep.
The moral of everything that happened, but I didn't like the messages I saw. I didn't like any of it. Right. And so we just had a conversation around this can't happen again. Mm-hmm. Like, this is so disrespectful to me. I don't like how I feel when this is happening. And so anything like this or in this, like if something doesn't change with this, then I can't move forward. And I mean,
okay,
it wasn't even.
This was so humiliating for me. This was so embarrassing for me. This was so degrading, whatever words she used, right? Imagine being married to the man and having his children.
Yes.
Yep. Just food for thought.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
And what these, and again, like in the grand scheme of things, he is working through these quote unquote relationship problems with his girlfriend when his wife is the one taking care of every single one of his kids' needs back in California, putting them to bed at night, talking them through like, where's dad? And like just the normal things that would come out of a separation. And he's, talking about his, I say air quotes, whatever, like, their honesty stuff that they need to have with each other. It's like, maybe you should have been honest with your wife when you're cheating on her.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what makes me, what you just said about the kids, that's what makes me emotional, because I remember my husband worked out of town and we were still together. He was not cheating or anything, right? But he worked for 6 months out of town at a time sometimes. Leo was around 2 years old. He's 4 now. And he would always, where's daddy? Where's daddy? And I knew where he was, and I knew that he wasn't doing anything like bad or anything. And I had a tough time explaining that to my 2-year-old.
Yep.
Can you imagine having to explain that to a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 7-year-old? The 7-year-old who can kind of grasp what's going on. Like, daddy's not home, he's with someone else. I cannot, my heart breaks for the kids and for the mom. And I think that's the whole why am I getting emotional already? That's the part that messes with me. Because again, I put myself in her shoes or in the children's shoes, or like imagine myself in their situation. And it's just like, what was the reason? Like there was no reason for this to happen how it did.
Yep. And again, if you haven't, if you're in the chat and it's your first stream, we're not saying all of this is on Jessie Lee. We're saying Avi is participating in shitty behavior, and he has been serially cheating on his wife. In my opinion, from what he has said on Bumble, based on his public marriage records and knowing what he said on the first 20 minutes of this podcast about how, like, what his Bumble interactions were like, it's mind-boggling. And so yes, Avi is yes,
it
and
takes two to tango.
it's a yes, and it's yes Avi, and it's yes Jessie Lee. It's yes for both.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so mad already. Okay, let's go.
Communication. And also he had to be so open about a situation that was, for him, I'm sure. Embarrassing in ways, made him feel like less than.
Yeah, and if you don't know, in the Jewish faith, you get married legally and you get married religiously. And all of the power in the Jewish faith for the wife to be able to remarry after a divorce is if the husband gives her a get. And Rivka has covered this. That is why this stuff is even twistier than us saying he abandoned his family. It's I'm gonna link Rivka's channel, but like if you watch that video, the Jewish community versus Jessie Lee, it opens up your eyes about the stuff that's going on. Seriously.
Yeah.
In some ways, and is like one of his most vulnerable spots of his entire life. And so instead of me knowing, let's call it 70% of a situation, that forced him to tell me 100% of everything, whether he was ready to tell me or not, which he was. It was fine, but he, it was culture differences. It was a whole like perfect storm of everything. But honestly, through that, really, it was our only big, like crazy anything really. But through that, I mean, we became way stronger.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was going to say. When you do those types of things, when you have the situations, and initially in the beginning, it's super hard to say what you really want to say, or some people have a tough time saying they're sorry, or sharing a full.
Or some people have a hard time telling their person that they're dating that they're still married. And maybe that person even has a hard time telling his wife that he's been cheating on her serially. I mean, let's pick our hard. And you obviously chose the easier of it. And I'm raging for his wife. I'm raging for his kids. Like, that's why, like, I'm upset about this, because we're listening to this podcast where they didn't do any research.
And again, I feel like any decent woman, any decent person, period, regardless of gender identity, whatever. And I said this out of experience. For those of you that don't know me and my husband briefly dated in high school. And then after like 11 years, the last thing that I knew of him is that he was going to get married and he was going to have a baby. And he came up in a conversation. I reached out on Facebook and said, hi. I told him the funny story. Haha, this is why you came into my mind, blah, blah, blah. I never thought he was going to respond, right? But because I'm a decent human being, when he did respond, my first question to him wasn't, how are you? It was, how is your wife? How is your baby?
Yep.
Any decent person would do that.
Yep.
Right? Yep. I want to think, because I didn't want to be the person, even if I wasn't trying to like pursue him or anything, I just did not want any misunderstandings there, because I thought in my mind that he was married and he had a child.
Yeah.
Which at the time, it was no longer true. He'd been divorced for like 4 or 5 years or something. And because it was like an 11-year gap.
Yeah.
He'd been divorced for like 5 years. The child, unfortunately, was not alive. She had a miscarriage and stuff. So, but that was my question to ask. Like, how is your wife? How is your baby? I'm not trying to get involved into anything. I feel like that's just like, common freaking courtesy. Even if you are trying to pursue somebody, you address that from the go.
Yep.
And once they tell you, hey, I'm still married, I have children, whatever, like in this case, again, the moral thing to do would be like, listen, take care of your situation. I'm not going to say I'm going to wait for you, but we can revisit this once you sort out what you have going on over there.
Yeah.
But no, because she's Jessie Lee Ward and she's the biggest, baddest bee ever, right? She gets to do whatever she wants and not be selfish and not care about those children. Again, she said in the video that I reacted to earlier, I grew up without my dad. I was always the weird kid. I was always made less, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And so why would you do that to 3 children?
Yep.
Why would you do the same thing to 3 kids? It makes no damn sense.
It doesn't. And she knew, I mean, she said in the, Courtney has said this story so many times, and Jessie Lee's confirmed it. Avi's confirmed it, that Jessie Lee knew about the kids from the car ride from the airport from the first time that Avi picked her up. So there is that opportunity that you're talking about and saying, oh, are you married? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so how's your situation with your baby's mother? That would be the first perfect question. How is the situation with the mother of your kids?
Yep.
But no, because she didn't care, and again, she thinks she's the biggest baddest bee. She's gonna do whatever the fuck she wants, because who cares about those kids, right? Who cares about the other woman that was waiting home for her husband?
Yep. And this podcast is even twistier because Traci, the podcast host, she used to work for Tony Robbins.
Oh,
And
shit.
that like in a high capacity level, and we know that Jessie Lee, the reason she got her MRI is from that twisty book she read about emotional trauma and the full body MRI. So I'm conspiratorial for half a second, maybe half conspiratorial. I wonder if she reached out to Tony Robbins, or because she knew Traci had used to work for Tony, if she is trying to go on some kind of PR campaign to help improve her image, or maybe even just stir shit up so to help her sales and stuff. And I wonder if this was intentional on Jessie Lee's part to move the needle on social media. And again, bad for Traci not to do the research, but if it's intentional on Jessie Lee Ward's part to make it seem like they're a happy, successful couple and pitch this idea to Traci, it gets twisty fast with all the potentials that could happen. So,
For sure.
Story. But once you decide you're going to do it and you do it, it does get easier. Once the other person hears you, and now you're creating a pattern and you're setting yourself up for success. So absolutely, you have to.
Well, I think some of it is just like he needed to know that I was a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason why the big fight was happening was because I didn't know all the information, because he didn't yet. Like, this is actually going to probably blow some people's minds. I apologized to him after it because I said something to him like, I'm sorry that I didn't make you feel safe enough yet for you to share that with me.
Misogyny. Well, for 1,000, Alex. What are you talking about? Say it, Karina. Just let it out. I don't even know.
You don't make adulterers feel safe, especially when they abandon their small children and their wife. Fuck that man feeling safe. You know who needs to feel safe? The kids.
Yep.
That's who needs to feel safe.
Yep, exactly.
Fuck out of here with that shit.
We're gonna rage so early. Hello, Clown Town. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Yes, and as many of you who can give Karina watch hours for this, I would appreciate it. And we're gonna continue to share the GoFundMe link for Avi's wife and her. I'm gonna say her kids. It's obviously his kids too. His 3 kids, his 7, 5, and 2-year-old. So 10 months
He doesn't
ago,
claim them anymore, but those are still very much his children.
Yep.
And I remember he was like, oh, wow. Because instead of saying like, how could you not tell me about this, it was, wait a minute. Then there's traumas from his past relationships for sure, where I'm expecting somebody to tell me things, and I think that I've made him feel safe enough, but I actually didn't make him feel safe. So
he doesn't, I'm sorry. In a healthy relationship, I would understand maybe the idea that you have a trusted, open communication and that you have done things where you're able to talk about hard subjects together. The first, in my opinion, the first responsibility you have is to your kids. And I don't have kids. I've never been able to have kids. But I can say this as a kid from my parents' perspective, where they made us feel safe and they sacrificed for us. And I see Karina do that same thing with her child. And I see like I see good parents and the sacrifices they make for their kids. And we see Avi and the stuff that he's done, and there's stuff that we can't share from like behind the scenes stuff that we know about that may or may not come out.
It will blow y'all's mind.
It'll blow your mind. So it's not just
it could get us in legal trouble if we say like everything that we know. So we won't. For her benefit and ours as well, to protect ourselves, but for more than anything for her benefit. But yeah, I just find this mind blowing. Like, you want to make him feel safe, and oh, he had trauma. Okay, so what? We all have trauma. That doesn't mean you're gonna bring it into a new relationship. And that's what that matchmaking lady should have said. Like, okay, I understand you have trauma from your past relationships, but how are you gonna bring that into your new relationship?
Yeah. And what kind of safety are we talking about? You're couch surfing in the penthouse of, just like Kirsten said, the penthouse of your sugar mama or your girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to put your kids to bed at night. You don't, I assuming that they're probably like you said earlier, Karina, when your 2-year-old was asking where your husband was, they don't understand. And so he's not having to deal with that confusion of, living every single day with the kids and helping them walk through the big feelings and the confusion and the hurt and being scared that their dad isn't there. And the mom has to do that. So,
and what trauma is she referring to? Is it the trauma of being responsible for his children? Is it the trauma of honoring the vows that he made with his wife? What trauma? What trauma are we talking about? Define trauma for us, because as we all know, she gives definitions to different definitions to the words than what they really are, to benefit her, to make her look good.
Yep. 100%.
Instead of playing the blame game of this is all your fault, did I excuse like the behavior or whatever? No, but I also realized, wait, like I'm partially to blame for this too. There's some reason that he doesn't yet feel fully safe in telling me. And so I think that also helped us get through pretty quickly, is me not pointing the finger. You're guilty. It's all your fault. Because it's never all one person's fault.
Absolutely. And that makes me think of my very, very favorite question, or one of my favorites in any situation.
Yep. 100%.
Part of this do I own? Because relationships are co-created. And if there is a situation at hand that you want to point the finger at one person because this happened, that question, everybody ask yourself that question: what part of this do I own? Because you do own it. And the fact that you actually sat in a situation like that and had that much awareness and then brought that to the table, kudos. Like, those are the relationships that will last, because you have that awareness and the emotional intelligence behind it.
Emotional intelligence. Let me ask you a question. So you're a dad and you've brought 3 kids into the world. Oh, wait, your wife has, but you participated. Okay, great. You then come to Texas and you are working here in Texas, and then you decide to for an undisclosed amount of time, get busy with people other than your wife, and your wife and I'm going to assume, and this is alleged, but your wife didn't know. Okay. That's shitty of you, dude. What responsibility should you have? Taking care of your kids, taking care of your wife. That's the responsibilities you should have been doing. Oh, like who's responsible? Obvious, for sure, for being expletive. I'm trying to be good about not doing ad hominem attacks. This makes me so.
They make it so hard.
Oh, I'm so mad.
Yeah, I think being emotionally mature and emotionally responsible and stuff. I don't know about anybody else, right? But I'm a mom first. Yes, I'm a wife. Yes, I'm a daughter. Yes, I'm a sister. But I am a mom first.
Yeah.
And I would like to think that as a dad, he's the dad first, and he should have been like, okay, yeah, sure, I don't want to be with my wife anymore, which, you know, again, she allegedly didn't know about this until months later when they were already living together. So, okay, I don't want to be with my wife. If you don't want, I won't talk to her. Like that would be like the half decent thing to do. But like, let me take care of my children. Let me provide for my children, because allegedly he's not even paying child support. He's not even talking to his children. He's not even claiming his children anymore. And not only that, but he's not letting them move on, because he won't go through the process that it takes in the Jewish community or the Jewish religion for her to be able to move on.
Yep.
How selfish do you have to be?
Yep.
To do something like that.
Yep. And if y'all don't understand like the devastation that not getting a get can put you through, you can look up Flatbush Girl on Instagram. You can type in Google get refuser, and you can look at articles about what it's like as a practicing Jewish practicing the Jewish religion. Yeah. It's even worse. It's so flippant. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. Oh.
I think it's beautiful that you came up with that. It's both owning it.
Just kind of sit in it and then just get angry and never tell the person, like, this is actually what I need out of this. And so, I mean,
your wife kind of needs spousal support, and your kids need support, emotional support, and a consistent maybe. I mean, I'm just guessing here, since we see Avi so many times on Jessie Lee Ward's live streams helping her pack trials. Oh my gosh, wild. You know what? Like what about like making sure your kids are okay? And I know she's mentioned a few times that he's flown back to California to be with his kids for a couple of days, and then he comes back. And then we saw her flaunting the other day that 8 years ago she said that she was going to have 2 boys, and Avi has 2 boys, and she made it seem like those are going to be her kids, and that's the fulfillment of her like manifestation from 8 years ago. And I'm like, oh.
And that is where the mama bear comes in for me. Now listen, one thing I can hope, if me and my husband for whatever reason don't stay together for the rest of our lives and he chooses to take on another relationship, I want that person to love my kid, respect my kid, treat my kid like their own. Yes. However, you will not go on social media and claim them as your own, because that is when the mama bear, the Mexican mama bear, will come out. Yeah. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that shit. How are you going to insult the mom who birthed them and claim them as your own when you don't even know what being a mom is?
Yep. For sure.
Yep.
And yeah. Aaron asked, has anyone heard of the podcast host? Yes, she was like the VP for Tony Robbins for one of his divisions for a long time. She was also involved in a multi-level marketing company. I'm not sure if it's still open or not. She is twisty. She's in the twisty realm, and now she she's a matchmaker now?
For only straight couples though.
Yeah. Because apparently it's only guy and girl. And yeah. Oh yeah, it's so twisty, Aaron. It's the twist. It's like it's beyond twisty. And so we were wondering if, because Jessie Lee was reading the Tony Robbins like stuff on with the whole body MRI thing, if she is looking to either stir the pot on social media and get her name continued out there, or if she was really trying to like make some kind of statement about the validity of her and Avi's relationship and how good they are, and she knew of this connection. It's just twisty. I don't know. The two, like all the threads that are connected, like it's just too coincidental, I guess, and that's why I've got so many questions about this.
Yeah, and the way she's approaching this whole like, oh, people are demonizing me, because that's what she said yesterday, right? People are demonizing me on social media. They don't know what they're talking about. Ma'am, we're just reacting to what you put out there. And if you put out the worst side of you, that's a you problem. That's a you problem. That's all you, baby. Like, we have nothing to do with that. You put that out there. And so, again, the way she's handling this whole situation and how she had the audacity to do this podcast, that's why I say that my compassion for her and my good well wishes for her they have dried out. Like, I cannot say, oh, I wish she gets better, blah, blah. Obviously, I don't wish her any harm. However, I'm not going to sit here and spend my well wishes on someone who took the father away from 3 children.
Yep.
I will not do that. Like I said, I'm a woman and a mom first. And this is, for someone who claims to be a woman's woman, this is not very feminist of you, ma'am.
Yeah. And she just continues to contradict herself. And and she can easily contradict herself, and putting the media in front of an audience and saying she said this and this contradicts it, and she said this and this contradicts it, and it's big contradictions. It's not just like, oh, blue's my favorite color, but I only wear red and everything in my house is red. It's not like trivial surface level stuff like that. It's like, hey, I care about being kind, and then you make all these digs to his wife on a lot of your lives. And you have to go back and watch them. They're all still there. They're all still there on social for you to watch. You can watch some of the live streams that Aaron's done and Julie Joe's.
Agreed, Countdown.
Yes. So,
is in the situation. It's like he did his side, I did my side, and then we came together out of it just way stronger. Like the situation is just like he knows that I would go to war, like he knows like, I will protect him. So, and that should scare some people.
That shit scares some people. He should protect his kids. You should give a shit about protecting his kids' privacy online. You should not be using his kids as strategic pawns to play your social media games on the internet. And she's made threats to people, and you're saying, oh, she hasn't named any names. I don't give a flippity flop. You know who she's talking about. And she has threatened to sick Avi on people. She has threatened other people in the space of commentary about talking about
me.
She threatened Karina. So don't even.
She ain't pulled up yet.
Yep. That should scare some people. Who are you referring to, Jessie Lee? Yes. And if y'all don't know, Erin was on Jessie Lee's team. She was a part of the original group that came over from Modere to prove it. So if you're looking for the lie detector in the situation, the person that pulls the rug out from under Jessie Lee, it's Erin Bees. And she does it frequently, and she does it in a classy, no cursey word kind of way. So if you are looking for the whole dark history and the timeline of events, I'm gonna link Aaron's channel on my channel. But seriously, if you're in Karina's chat,
Lushy,
her name and go sub.
Lushy, please link Aaron's channel on my channel. I think that if she loved him, if she really loved him, and I say it because I love my husband, and that means that includes everything. And I've mentioned this before, but when I say I love my husband, I love him. I care about his emotional, mental health, I care about him as a whole. Therefore, if she really loved them, she loved his children too, enough to make sure they're taken care of, even if it has nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
Again, a decent human would care about the extension of the person that you allegedly love. But that is not love, ma'am. I hate to break it to you, but that's not love, in my opinion.
Yep.
And to know that person has your back no matter what is like, not a lot of people feel that. And I think this is one of the reasons I'm so happy that you guys agreed to this, because I do know that you guys have each other's back, and it comes from doing the work. And it's like, it's not just a given. And when you are in that place, there's a story behind how you got there. It's just not automatic. Those couples chose to stick it out and fight through it. And I know, Jessie Lee, I don't know how much you want to share about this, but you guys have a big challenge in front of you that you're facing with your health.
I thought she was going to say you have a big challenge in front of you because
he still has a wife.
And yeah, I thought that was the big challenge, but that's not what happened. And again, from my chat, please do not say anything about karma and getting cancer. I've had so many people that I love die from cancer. I don't I personally, like, that's my rule for my channel. I don't want to see it. It's an auto block for me. So I'm not trying
Same
to
here. Again, I don't wish her well, like whatever. I don't care. I don't care anymore. My patience, my compassion has run out. But we will not say, oh, she deserves this or whatever. Don't. No one deserves that. No matter how shit of a human she is, no one deserves that. So if you could please, thank you.
Thank you.
Or anything that you would want to share with that and how he's been a support to you, or how it's maybe strengthened, or something about that.
Share about it.
I share about it.
Sure.
He asks you how you want.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's cool from your perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't know because he's conning you.
I'll let you start and let me talk after that.
See. Okay, listen. As someone
I
who's
agree.
screwed over by people, when I'm listening for this type of stuff, and the person that you say is your match, the podcast lady was asking him what she loves or what he loves about Jessie Lee, and he said, I loved when you said this about her, and he said, oh, what do I love about Jessie Lee? You're right, I do love, and he repeated her statement, and he said so many generic things. And I know that English is a second language. I have room for that. But when he's repeating everything she said, he's garnering time not to like think through what he wants to say. He's coming with these generic things about what he loves about her. It's coming across to me that he is conning her and waiting with her and hoping that he gets either something if she doesn't stay alive. And that
I agree,
shameful.
because if he loved her, he would ask her to get chemo, because that is proven to help with cancer, right? That is proven to treat cancer, right?
Yep.
If he loved her, he would say, hey, quit your shit, get it together, let's do what you actually have to do. You have the resources, you have what did she say, the resources and the network to get the best of the best of the best. If he loved her, he'd push her to do what she's supposed to be doing and not put up with this woo-woo wah-wah science bullshit.
Yep.
But in my opinion, I also think that he's conning her, because you think my husband, being the amazing person that he is, and not to brag, but I'm going to brag a little bit, being the amazing man that he is and the amazing husband that he is, you think if I said, no, instead of doing chemo, I'm going to put coffee up my butt, he was going to be like, makes sense. No. He'd be like, if you don't get your insane ass up of this floor and go get what you need to get done, I just, mind blowing.
Yep. And again, it seems like the people that do love you are willing to have the hard conversations with you, like her dad was willing to have with her, and saying, please, I want you to live, and I want you to give yourself the best chance that you possibly can give yourself. Please get chemo. Get out. Immediately yeeted from her life. And then now, and again, I am glad she reconciled with her mom. I cannot imagine going through what she's going through and not having one parent or someone who cares about you, because I have a hard time comprehending that the yes group of people around her that she has set up for herself and Avi are like, I hope someone actually loves her. And when you listen to her talk about her grandma, how much you dislike her, when she talked about losing her grandmother, you hear like the emotion in her voice. And like, I would hope that someone going through a devastating diagnosis has someone who actually loves them and is not just using them or so scared to tell them the truth that they're just saying yes to everything that she's saying.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good that she reconciled with her mom. I hate that she's in a fight with her dad, but I mean, at least there's one person, and hopefully she can talk some sense into her. I doubt it, but at least she's there. And I want to mention a few people asked me to react to that video, and I can't. I can't. I'm actually going through like a thing with one of my parents too, and so it would be very hard. Even just watching DC's live, where we met the mom and all that stuff, was very triggering. to me, but you can watch DC's video.
Yeah, it's emotional. It's emotional, and there's so many people, and like I got emotional, and there's, you know, we've heard people in the chat about like they've been cut out of their parents' life because of who they said they are as a person, that, you know, they've never gotten a hug again once they came out to their family. And you imagine the person that you love the most like won't give you a hug because, but you know, and it's just like dealing with family stuff is so, there's so much emotion there. There's so much like I don't know. So don't watch it if it's gonna trigger you. It's so emotional for sure.
Yeah, and sometimes it definitely, I don't want to judge her either for like cutting her dad out because she knows her reasons. I know that I do. So like if she cut him out for setting boundaries that she thinks in her head or like she feels like they're right, I get that. If it was like for her safety, I get that. But I don't want to judge her, and that's the reason why I don't want to talk about it, because I feel like as a child trying to break the generational curses and all that stuff, it's pretty hard to like take on a topic like that, and especially when I've had to be the one to put up like very strict boundaries and like basically cut my dad out. So
yeah,
that's another reason why I don't want to talk about it, because it wouldn't make any sense, because I'm kind of in the same situation for different reasons, I'm pretty sure, but nonetheless it's pretty triggering. But again, I'm glad she reconciled with her mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
that's okay. I know it's pretty heavy. So well, all right. So for anybody listening that doesn't know, in February, I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic colon cancer. It had spread, or I have no idea. Like maybe I've already cured it, you know, who knows? But I feel very healthy. So anyhow, it had spread to my lymph nodes all the way up in my neck and trachea and stomach, which is why it was staged as 4. No symptoms, none of this. I'm going to make some long YouTube series to help people answer all these questions and stuff. They get asked the same questions over and over again. But you know, our relationship wasn't brand new or anything, but it was not, you know, we weren't years and years into the relationship or anything. This wasn't a marriage. This was, you know, this.
He recently went private on his Facebook. Just a heads up. He has shut things down. And we've never given last names on my channel. I've never mentioned the name of his wife. Rivka addresses his wife as Yehudis, which is like a strong Jewish name, which I think is incredible. And so we just say Avi's wife, which I feel like we should say something different because it continues to bring Avi into the conversation, and she is such a strong person, and I think it's Yehudis. I think Rivka's working right now, so, and Rivka's gone through a week, so.
Yeah, I just address her as the wife because she very much is the wife still, regardless of how JL feels about it.
Yep.
She's still the wife. So.
Yep. That's a great point.
If there was any time for him to leave and run, it would have been then. You know, and I even got a message from my dad that was like, "Oh, where's Avi?" Because he had gone back to California to handle some family business, and he's like, "Oh, you know, I know it's a really tough diagnosis, so I get it. You know that he probably ran." I'm like, this man's going nowhere. Like, he's going nowhere. So we were actually on a jet flying back from the Bahamas, landed in Kentucky for a layover to drop some people off, when I had a Zoom call where not only had my MRI come back, but also a Gallery Grail test had come back that showed that I had colon cancer. So that plane ride home was awful. We were in the back of the plane. It was a private jet. So that's why I said jet. I'm like trying to kind of paint the picture, but we were in the back of the private jet. We closed the bedroom door that was there. Cause it's, you know, like, well, I don't know how many people have flown private, but sometimes there's bigger jets that have second areas, and this one had one. And I mean, I was sobbing uncontrollably, right? For 25 minutes.
Yep. It's just, you know, and it's okay to have questions, and everyone on the internet seems to be like extremely offended that we're saying, hey, something doesn't seem right. Something doesn't seem right, and questions are not inherently offensive. We have questions because we don't know the answer, and there's things that are not being there are things that are not being clarified in this podcast. It's just twisty, and it also contradicts what they've said on previous live streams and what court documents actually say about the situation. So, what is going on?
Also, you know what baffles me to kind of like, oh, what's happening with my voice? You know what kind of baffles me? That at this point in time, with all her health issues that she has and everything, she's still worried about the way people perceive her. Like, oh yeah, I was on a private jet, blah, blah. Who the fuck cares? You just got a diagnosis for cancer, stage 4 cancer at that. You could have told the same story, omitting that,
Yep.
and it would have still made the same impact. Also, she's still worried about her weight. Ma'am, what?
Yep.
What? Do you think that if I was in that situation, that would be even like a thought in my brain? Like, oh my gosh, I gained 2 pounds. I just want to live. I just want to survive. Like, what are you talking about? How vain and how out of touch can you be?
Yep. And
it's wild.
I wonder if it's a sign, and I'm not going to diagnose. I'm wondering if it's an underlying issue with her body and how she sees herself. She's said it for 8+ years. She's always been in that chase for this certain type of body, and how sad. And I'm not saying, oh, I pity you. I'm saying, how sad is it that she's in this situation and still not just focusing on her health. She is looking at how something is going to either make her get bigger or make her get smaller. And that is such a hold on like how she thinks about everything that she can't like focus on getting healthy in a meaningful sense to me. And yes, I do encourage body autonomy and doing what's best for you, but there's also this like body dysmorphia essence coming into this situation, because she was talking about her dry fast that she's doing, which is wild. Dry fast, no water, no food, to burn the cancer out of her body. Her words, not mine. And she's talking about, yeah, I'm going to get really thin doing this. And it's like, we want you to get better. And like, I know some people are neutral about it. Some people are neutral about her health. Like, I wouldn't wish cancer on my worst enemy. And I don't see Jessie Lee as an enemy. I just, cancer's so devastating. I hope that less and less people have to experience it. And I'm sorry that she's going through that. And I'm sorry that she also is struggling with her body image in this whole situation too. It makes it even twistier.
Oh yeah, I think also, as you know, how much she like raves and like puts her man on a pedestal. He clearly is not doing the work that a man should do. I don't know about anybody else, but my partner makes me feel secure in myself. I'm already a pretty decently confident person, but it has a lot to do with him too. Like, I can't sit here and say that it was on me. So if you see how your partner is struggling with general health issues, like, I don't know, say cancer, and they're still worried about their physical appearance, the least you can do is be like, no, babe, don't worry about that. Let's get this sorted out first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But again, I guess that just goes to show their true love.
Yep.
Whole time he's like, we will beat this. And the thing is, he had no idea what to say to me. And so for me, I was actually getting frustrated because I felt like and I didn't even know what I needed. This is because cancer is kind of a weird thing. You have no idea. You don't know what you need really, especially when you first get diagnosed. And he's like, we're going to beat it. We're going to win this. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to be, and I was like, just stop talking like her. Like, I was like, I was hysterical, but I really realized kind of in that moment, like, he wasn't joking. He was crying as hard as I was crying. And you know, it's kind of one of those things where all of the, you know, I guess hopes and dreams and the things you've talked about in your marriage and your kids and this long-term future immediately just comes to this screeching halt. And this is before I was even staged or anything. This is just me.
Whose marriage? Whose kids?
Oh my God. It's so wild for her to say that. You know, all of the talks that we've had about our marriage and our kids in the future, you're still married, Avi. You've got 3 kids, Avi. I just, it's hard to, and again, there's people that are going to listen to this podcast and they're going to listen to this story and they're going to think, wow, so inspirational. This dream home builder in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, and this multi-level marketing top pyramid performer are, you know, the it couple. And it's like, well, it's more complicated than what you're saying. And I really appreciate all of the people who have listened to the podcast and left reviews and listened to the podcast and reached out to Traci and trying to let her know, like, whoa, this is twisty and this should not be highlighted or promoted or encouraged.
I put $10 on the fact that she's not going to take it down and she's not going to give a damn.
Yeah. Dang.
Uh-oh. And I'm thinking, oh, it's just, we'll cut it out. Like, this sucks. I could be really sick. I actually said to my best friend on the plane that day. But then I was kind of collected myself, went back out and finished, you know, just again, kind of this mindset warrior over here. But he's, you know, he's got a crazy life. So he's not always able to be at every appointment and he can't go to everything, but he was the first one, of course, you know, when I'm going into surgery, he's holding my hand. He was there when I woke up. He stayed in the hospital every single night. He every single day, you know, he would go to work. If he had to, he'd come rushing back. Every single thing I've needed to do anything, any treatments or whatever. He's talked to a sister of his, sister-in-law of his is also I think a doctor who also had cancer as well in the past. And so, you know,
wait, I'm rewinding that. What the hell? What did she
just say? Sister-in-law of his, like his wife's sister, or like his brother's wife?
Oh my God. I'm
hoping it's the latter.
Yeah. Sister-in-law. Y'all, if you don't know, Aaron and Julie Joe are doing a bombshell stream tomorrow. Be there, or no, literally just be there. Like, clear your schedule, be there live, get those numbers up, share the shit out of it, because it's going to be a bombshell. It's going to be a freaking bombshell.
We're all going to be there. Rock in the chat.
Was outreaching for resources, and he'd send me things like, have you seen this? Have you heard of this? And the whole time, there's been days where I've cried harder than I've cried my entire life, obviously. And we've gone through boxes and boxes of Puffs Plus. I want stock in it. And, you know, he's holding me and we're just sobbing together. And he reminds me, you know, stay positive, keep thinking of the future, because as strong as my mindset is, which it really is. I mean,
I'm so mindset driven. I'm so good at everything. Look, I love confident people. I love how confident Karina is. I love how confident Aaron is. It's like you see people like that who are genuine. They're not assholes about like their confidence. And it's like, you're confident without crushing people. And it's like, oh, it encourages others to be confident too. And the way that this is coming across is that it has like a slimy texture to it. The way that she like reiterates like, oh, I'm so incredible at everything. Like, I can't help it. Like, success just comes to me. I'm so like good at all this stuff. And wait, I thought this question was like directed to Avi, but we still haven't listened to what Avi said. And she's giving him all the points that he's going to play off when he answers because she's already told everyone how he responded, how supportive he was. So you're never going to find out the truth from him. Because if you had actually let him respond, I bet his answer would not have been what we're about to hear. I bet you.
Yeah, but also I am the most confident person in the universe, and I am this and I am that, while letting assholes like Dominic Issel insult her to her face and treat her like shit, just like this guy here has done it plenty of times on her own lives.
Yep.
So I'm sorry, but when you're a bad B, you stand up for yourself. I don't care who it is talking to you. trying to degrade you, demean you, humiliate you, whatever, you stand up for yourself.
Yeah, and you stood up for Jessie Lee too. Like, I remember when we were all looking at that, and then Karina reacted to it recently too, and we're like, what are you doing sitting there when Dominique is treating you like trash? And we have lots of things to say about her behavior. But when you see someone getting literally emotionally stomped on by someone, you're like, no, we don't do that here. What the hell are you doing? She should have ended the interview because he was your asshole to her. And it's like, oh, it's a guy, so I'm just gonna smile and
I'm just gonna be in my feminine energy and let this motherfucker stomp all over me because, feminine.
Yeah, hell no.
Shut up.
And you think about this, like, and everyone says, like, oh, what if you had a daughter? It's like, I don't care if it's a daughter or if it's a son. If you see someone treating someone like the way that Dominic treats people, you stand up for them. You stand up for the person who is getting targeted. And he seems to do that. And I don't want to make this about Dominic Izzo, but it's just like, oh, and just come on. What are you talking
about? I cannot wait for after your stream tomorrow, Erin. We've currently raised almost $4,700 for the wife and the kids.
Yep, I'm super.
I love that.
And that's all like, and I hate, like, I know grassroots is kind of like a hot term, but seriously, like, just regular people with a voice like Karina and Aaron and Julie Joe and others just sharing the GoFundMe, and people like Rivka reaching out to people locally to hit I keep saying Avi's wife, the mom and her kid, so that it's set up correctly. That's gonna go to her. It's been like y'all. It's been people like y'all saying like, no, we stand with her. And it's so encouraging to go through and see, even though they're anonymous donations and some of them have names on them, and you're seeing like support, so that someone doesn't feel alone and isolated in this like super scary time. And it's cool. It's seriously, it's like super amazing. It shows the power of community and collective action. We can work together to make a difference. Seriously.
It's this thing's pretty darn strong. I get scared. I have not days, but I do have moments where I get really nervous or really scared, or if I have a stomach ache, I get a little nervous, or if I feel really tired, I get nervous. If I feel anything, because you just never really know. It turns you into a completely different person. But it also made me realize, like, there's moments.
Wait, what about the time when he was carrying up the air filter to the apartment, and he had gotten all your packages, and he yelled at you when you were on stream that he can read? Oh, does that not count as a fight and you completely shut down? Does that not count as a fight? Or when you like were kind of going back and forth in their live recently where you were packing trials and I don't know, like, what counts as a fight now? Because the energy is not doing it for me. I'm just confused.
Yeah, I don't think it would be like necessary. I wouldn't consider that a fight, but definitely it was very passive aggressive of him. Like, he didn't have to answer like that. He could have been like, no, I haven't read it, or like, I didn't look at it, or I think if I asked my husband that question, like, oh, did you see what it was? He'd be like, oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be like, I can read. Okay, yeah. Sir. Damn. Yep. Go take a nap. Go touch grass. Something.
But even just disagreements and stuff, I just think to myself, like, there is no man that is going to love me. Like, are you kidding me? Every step of the way, when I'm traveling, where maybe when I travel, I'll be this little shenanigator who goes out and does, crazy, the wild party girl. I'm like, there is no other man on earth that is going to walk like hand by hand, side by side, make sacrifices for me, with me, etc., to make sure he's there as often as he can be. And then we're going to get through stage 4 cancer together, and we're going to have this amazing life. Like, how could you even think about not fighting for him when he's got stuff going on in his life, or supporting him in ways where, he doesn't even know how to ask yet, or making sure we're building a life together? Or how could, like, God forbid, how could you imagine cheating on somebody who literally is saying, like, no matter what, I'm here?
Ma'am, your guy is the fucking cheater. How can you imagine being the other woman? That's my question to you. And also, P.S., I think he's just trying to wear you out, babe. Don't give yourself too much credit.
I don't even know what to say right now because she is literally addressing the elephant in the room. She is the other woman, and she is one of many of the other women because Avi, in his own words, admitted that he is an aficionado of Bumble. So he used it for, so many times. So like, oh, you're making a stance about cheating? Avi is cheating right now. What is happening?
You know what gets me is they have the saying, and it doesn't always apply, but I think in this case it's pretty accurate. You will lose him how you got him. That's because, I'm sorry, but when it comes to the relationship thing, that's just the whole cheating situation. Babe, karma, just the cheating situation. You're gonna lose him like you got him. That man is not worth shit, because if he was, he'd be taking care of his kids. He would have done things the right way, even if he didn't want to be with his wife anymore. But no, instead he was a fucking coward and he ran, and now he's hiding under your skirt. So don't sit here and give this motherfucker flowers when he doesn't even deserve the thorns. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Mic drop. I love what you just
She's
said
lucky.
about the flowers.
She is lucky I am not his wife, because I would have taken her for everything she got. No bullshit.
Oh, I love your spice. It was needed for this final thing. Because I was like, we can't be crying. We can't be like, we need the sass and the straightforward, like, intelligence of Karina for this. Because seriously, holy shit.
To be here for the rest of my life, the rest of your life. Like, we're winning this. So anything else can just F off.
Can the judge F off, because the one who's deciding the divorce situation, or the rabbi who is gonna figure out the get? Because unfortunately Avi has to give the get so his wife can get remarried. Like, who are you telling to F off in this situation? Because there's bigger legal and religious bodies at play than just you, ma'am. God.
Also, I bet she never counted with the fact that this whole community would back the wife up. I bet she never counted with that fact.
Yeah.
And here we are, because we're going to support her in however way we can, because this is all kinds of messed up. Yep. All kinds of messed up. And again, I sympathize with the wife. I could never, like, I can't picture myself in her situation, and I can't picture my child and the children's situation. I just, again, she wants to make threats and be like, people should be scared of me. Listen, if he was my husband, she should be scared of me. Like, I just, no. I'm glad that his wife is not how I am, because that can get you in a lot of shit. But we are here to support her. I think that's like the best thing that I can say. We're here to support her as much as we can. And I am so happy to be part of this community at this very moment to support her. Yeah. And Jessie, you want to tell people and things to F off? Ma'am, you can F off for destroying a home and taking the father of 3 children.
Yeah, and Avi did it to himself. Avi did it to himself, and participatory on her part too. Because it's like, when you heard him say, and I was devastated. I say devastated. I'm devastated for his wife, for him to say how much he was on Bumble cheating on his wife. He has a 7-year-old, he has a 5-year-old, and he has a 2-year-old. Kids that his wife is taking care of. Yeah. And he's out here being a playboy, being a cheating person. I'm trying to edit myself because I don't name call, but I'm just like,
you want me to do it for you? Want me to do it for you? Because I can.
God. I'm just...
No. I think also something that they don't count with, like, neither him or her, and I mean her, Jessie Lee, is the fact that right now his children are small. They're 2, 5, and 7. How much access to social media might they have? Probably none. If you are a parent of young children like myself, you're very controlling of their screen time and what they do have access to. However, what they're not counting on is that these children are going to grow up. They're going to be able to get their hands on all this information. And what do you think is going to happen then, Avi? Because I know if I was in your children's situation and I grow up and I see everything you put my mother through so publicly.
Yep.
Do you think I'm going to stand by you?
I
Do
hope.
you think I'm going to be there for you when you're old and can't wipe your own ass as a child? Do you think I'm going to claim you since you don't want to claim me?
Yeah.
I bet he's not thinking about any of that. And when he does, it's going to be too late.
Yeah, because he's with the woman who has the Lamborghinis and the Porsches and the whatever else and the car dealership, whatever nonsense she keeps saying she has, and her corporate listings don't exactly back all of those up, but that's a story for another day. Yes, in some situations, Alexis, Rivka knows more about this than I do, but there is a whole undercurrent of like a subgroup of get refusers, and there's people speaking out about it, but it's an insidious problem because like the woman can't get remarried because the husband will like couch surf with the family and like evade it, basically evade giving the get. And I hope he does the right thing. And I hope if he is unable to choose to do the right thing, that someone from his community in the legal process doing it correctly makes him do the right thing. I hope so.
I wouldn't hold my breath, but I hope so too.
Yep. Yet another example of where Jessie Lee Ward is the victim of 𝐓𝐇𝐎𝐔𝐃 and the predator of publicly flaunting their infidelity.
Yeah, also, what does it matter how many cars you have or how much money you have? You ain't taking none of that shit with you when you eventually pass from cancer for not treating yourself how you're supposed to. So why does the private jet, you're not taking nothing with you. So what's the point? You're going to leave it to this cheater? Good luck with that.
I hope not. I certainly hope not. And I guess like part of me is like, I hope she gets better. And then I also, if she doesn't, I hope she doesn't leave him a damn thing. I hope she leaves it to her nephew, who she seems to love or care about on some level. And I hope she lives. I know someone's gonna say we're just picking on her. I always say this. I hope she lives. I hope anyone with cancer beats it. That's a general like disclaiming statement. And if unfortunately she passes away, I hope he gets not a damn thing from her. God, I'm so mad.
Just such a crazy level of support. So I love you very much. But I mean, it's just another moment of where I go, no, like if I wasn't sure that God sent this man.
She just said that God sent this man to her. What?
God doesn't send you someone else's man, ma'am. I hate to break it to you.
Oh my God.
I am really sure now. I mean, the timing makes no sense, right? Otherwise, it's completely divine timing.
No. It's not divine timing. It is people making decisions that are selfish. That are selfish. Avi wanted to do whatever he wanted inside of his marital contract, and he cheated on his wife multiple times. He did whatever he wanted to do. It's not God's timing. It's y'all choosing to make bad decisions, and you chose to make bad decisions together that negatively impact other people, i.e. his wife and his 3 kids.
You know, in this particular situation, I'm glad that she doesn't like the AC, that she likes her house hot, because it will be hot where she's going. You know, there's a special place for people like them where they're both going for all of this. You know, she wants to bring God into it. Bet money. That's not where you're going to end up, though. I hope you like it a little warmer than you're used to, ma'am.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's not God, it's Bumble.
The level of support, like you're not supposed to go through something like this alone. And I was the perpetual single girl, you know.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't the perpetual single girl. I'll tell you a timeline of facts. She was married. She allegedly the marriage broke up because they were starting to separate, and then she had a relationship with the chief marketing officer, Vic, of Modere. Okay, so that timeline's a little twisty. I don't know the details, but she was married, and then she ended up finalizing her divorce, I think, in 2018. And then she was in a relationship with he who shall not be named out of respect for him. And then when that ended, she got back with Vic. She made her stance on being with married men and lack thereof because she found out Vic, the same chief marketing officer from Modere, who was let go because he had a relationship with Jessie Lee Ward, has been married for over 20 years and they still live in the same house. And then she got off of that. Then she was going to be she was talking about getting married to this guy that she kept showing pictures of on her social media, who was in another country. He never came to visit her, so then she stopped posting about him. And then she decided, I'm going to I have a high libido and I'm going to live my life to the fullest. And then now we are here. And so she just recently stopped talking about having kids or doing whatever, but she hasn't been perpetually single. She's been going from one relationship to the next relationship, right?
And sometimes not even relationships, just hookups. I mean, who remembers when she was telling us how she was getting bent over a balcony? Like, we did not need to know that. We didn't need to know that. When she started dating Avi, did she not tell us that he put her in the shape of a pretzel? Ma'am, nobody needs to know that. Like, good for you. You do you. That's your business. But we don't need to know that. Hey, Daisy, what up? But yeah, I mean, and I want to clarify, I'm a very sex positive person.
Yeah.
You do whatever makes you happy as long as two consenting adults are involved. But no one needs to know that mess. Nobody.
Yeah, and I mean, and to each their own. I the only issue I take with it, because sure, creative control, it's the internet, do what you want. When you are clearly associating with a company and using, as Aaron says, shock marketing to move a product, how is that a duplicatable system when most people aren't going to say shocking things about sexual exploits, okay, and then move product? And I'm not like, I say do what you want to do on the internet with like consenting people who have the ability to consent. But what she does to sell ketones is wild from a marketing perspective to me. And that's the issue that I'm like, this is inappropriate and it's unprofessional, because you used to have people working in your office area and you were saying all of your under things were laying askew and you have your assistants coming in to work.
And like, again, you do you, but nobody needs to know that. And why, like, you claim to be such a professional and the best of the best. The best of the best doesn't need to resort to that type of shock marketing. If your product is what you're claiming it is, then the product should sell itself.
Yeah.
Why do you need all this extra BS to go on top of it? I just don't understand.
Yep.
And also, have y'all noticed that she stopped talking about like her sexual adventures, for lack of a better word, since she's been with Avi since the beginning that she started? And you want to know why? Probably because he shut that shit down. He was probably like, no, you're not going to be talking about that if you're with me.
Yep.
I'm willing to bet that's what it is.
Yep. And you've heard him in different lives where he's like, stop. He keeps telling her to stop saying certain things and how she's more Jewish than he is. And there's so many times where she also refuses to call him Israeli, and she'll say, oh, he's Middle Eastern. And he's like, I'm from Israel. Like, he is from Israel and he wants to be addressed as like, if you're going to talk about where I'm from, I'm Israeli. And she so many times will always change it, because she had said so many times when she was in Israel on Bumble looking for attractive people to hang out with, that everyone was disgusting. Everyone was disgusting there and no one was attractive. And you see the undercurrent of like some of the stuff that starts to boil to the surface that looks a lot like anti-Semitism and racism and just bigoted thinking. And it's just, twisty.
Yeah, super quickly to go off what you said too. The way that you said that he asked her to address him a certain way. Again, when you love somebody, you consider their feelings and you respect their boundaries, which I've seen none of that from either of them. Because why? He persuaded her to get drunk the first time they met, right? Crossed all her boundaries. She could have found herself in a dangerous situation.
Yep.
You know, thankfully she didn't, but she could have.
Yep.
Because she didn't stand up for herself and her boundaries. Same thing with him. Like when he says, I don't want you to call me that. I don't want you to talk about this. Or I don't want to be on live. Again, she crossed all his boundaries. How the fuck is that a healthy relationship? And why are they on this damn podcast?
Yep.
Pretending to be the golden couple, which they're not. Also, this is something that I said in your chat last night. Why does this lady keep referring to them as gold? Do you know how cheap gold is right now? That's not a good analogy, ma'am. That's not a good. No. Stop it. Stop it right now.
Oh my God.
Boom, here's this man. Boom, here's this diagnosis. Boom, whatever. And so it changed everything about our relationship. We were already on a fast track. It sent us on a rocket ship. And it helped us realize really quickly, you know,
what
priorities
truly matters,
and
like his children.
what truly matters.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll give you an example. I know that there's people here that were maybe weren't raised by parents at all. They're in the foster system and they never got adopted. I know there's people in the chat who were raised by one parent. I know there's people in the chat who were raised by awful parents and they don't have relationships anymore. From my experience, yeah, I lucked out. The luck of the draw, I got great parents. And when you're talking about sacrifice, I'm going to tell you what my dad used to do. He worked hella hard. He'd leave at 5 a.m. to go to work. He'd come home at 8:30 or 9 at night. And sometimes we'd need help with homework. He'd eat dinner. He'd go get changed, and there's no watching TV. There's no being on his phone. He'd come sit down next to us and help us with our math homework or help us with our chemistry homework or whatever. Like, he's dead tired and he would stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning helping us with stuff after he spent all day at work. And I know, like, not everyone has the capacity to do that. And I'm not trying to put him on a pedestal. I'm saying when you're talking about sacrifices and parents sacrificing for their kids, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about, where you set aside your comfort and what you want to do,
100%.
and you give it to your kids. And we don't see that with Avi.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that for you. I love that you grew up in such a stable household.
Yeah, and I think about it and I'm like, the luck of the draw. Like, seriously, because it's heartbreaking to know, like, that there is such a spectrum of good and bad home situations, that some people didn't have anything, and some of it was like no emotional connection, and it's tumultuous and traumatic. And I'm not trying to say like, I feel grateful, and I also like see the reality, and I know that's not normal, but I say, like, as a kid, how impactful that was to have somebody, like, not just like, oh, we got whatever we wanted because we needed help. It's like, to see that sacrifice, it's like, I want to emulate that, and I want to sacrifice for other people too, like my parents did. And I want to share those stories because that's the comparison that I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about Avi getting to hang out with his girlfriend, and what's the big struggles we're going through? Ketone ordering and arguing about whatever shit. And then, yes, she is going through a devastating diagnosis, and he's living with her 99% of the time.
I think that's the part that like messes me up the most about this whole situation. The kids, not to like overshare or whatever, but I kind of want you guys to see what I see through their eyes as like 5-7-year-old Karina or whatever. Fuck. Why do I always do this? Okay, so I grew up in a 2-parent household. My dad worked out of town always. So basically my mom raised us on her own, and when he was around, he was an alcoholic for most of my life. He doesn't drink anymore because he can't, or he will not be here anymore. But when he was around, he was very mentally and emotionally abusive. And it took me like 30 years to realize what was going on when I was a child. Now, as a grown up, I have found out a lot of things that he did and said to my mom. So that is where I put myself in the children's place.
Yeah.
He is currently very, very sick. My dad is currently very, very sick. However, he's never respected boundaries. He's always put us in physically dangerous situations.
Yep.
He has always mentally and emotionally abused my mom, my brother, and myself. So being that type of parent, I just hate that as a daughter, especially the eldest daughter and a Mexican daughter, I am expected to stand by him after all of that. So again, I put myself in the situation of the kids, and I could never stand by my father if I found out that he did this to my mom. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't, and I could never do what he's doing to my child.
Yeah.
It's just heartbreaking, and I don't think he realizes the amount of trauma that he's giving his children. I think he's too selfish to give a fuck.
Yeah.
And again, I cannot fathom how her, having grown up without a dad, is doing this to these kids.
Yep.
Like, you have so much trauma, you had so many issues growing up because you didn't have a present father. Why would you do that to not one or two children, but three?
Yeah.
I just cannot understand. And that is why I keep saying my patience, my sympathy, my compassion for her has dried out. I can't, because I know what it is to be in the shoes of the children. And I could never justify anyone putting children through that.
Yeah.
I can't, no matter which way you roll it, you can't justify that.
Yep. I agree. I'm glad.
And I don't think she knows, and I don't think she gives a fuck. That's the worst part.
Yeah. And I'm glad there's people like you and others to speak up for the kids and the wife, because your emotions and your experience are helping others to see the damage that he is doing if they've never gone through the experience of being abandoned by a parent or being traumatized by a parent who is an alcoholic, or who and you sharing that helps. I know that it's selfish to say like it helps others, but like knowledge is powerful, and sharing your experience helps others. And like I know that his wife's family does watch the content, and they are encouraged by that, and seeing your emotion for them, I know, is such like a relief and an encouragement in this situation. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't mean anything, but I look at my situation, and my mom grew up in an alcoholic home, and she has some of the same things. And it's like you realizing that, and you getting to completely change Leo's growing up experience is incredible. And like it takes such a strong, intelligent, powerful person to be able to step and pivot and do something different to protect their kid. And you're so incredible, Karina.
Quick shout out to my husband, because he's been through it with me all. And he is also, I know he's not a public person, but he is also a incredible father and an incredible partner. And he is what my dad never was.
Yeah. I'm sending you all the love. In the chat is like outpouring for you too. We all love you.
Thank
Karina.
you. And I didn't want to get emotional, but I think it's very important for us as adults, especially if we've never been in a similar situation, to put ourselves to think about not just like, oh, those poor kids, but no, like actually think about the damage that is being done to those poor kids. And I'm just hoping, and I mean, I know their mom is strong as fuck to be even putting up with any of this, but I just know I know they're gonna be okay. They have a strong mom. I don't know her, but if she's anything like me or just a decent mom to begin with, I know they're gonna be okay. It's gonna take some time, but I just need people to see, and hopefully one of these two morons watches this and maybe something clicks.
Yeah.
And they try to at least maybe not fix, but undo some of the fucking damage that they're doing. If not to the wife, to the children. Not that the wife doesn't matter, but like the children.
Yep.
You know? Like they have a whole life ahead of them when they just have no idea what they've done.
Yep. You're right.
Do anything to make sure that we win this together. And so why wouldn't I support him with the same level of excitement and energy in his endeavors that are not health related, right? Like his personal life stuff that's kind of crazy, or his business stuff, or whatever he needs my support in. It's like, no, like we're okay. So we're in this together with cancer. Well, F that, we're in this with everything. Like you're in a fight, I'm in a fight. Okay. You need to fight them. I'm fighting too. And so it's like, oh no, it's not just your resources. It's mine too. You know? So, and I just think
your resources is why he's there.
I guess I misunderstood. So it's not just, was she talking about financial resources? Like it's not just your resources, it's mine too. Like, is he helping?
I think she's talking overall.
Okay. Because if he, well,
I mean, that's what I understood.
I'm going to lose it if I'm going to lose it if it's a case where he's participating financially in Jessie Lee Ward's life and he is not doing it in his own kid's life. I'm going to lose my shit.
I agree.
Feel that level of support, you realize, oh, this really is that love that people talk about. This is not just some superficial, oh yeah, he's hot, which he is clearly. Oh, he's just some super.
I can try to rewind it a little bit. Let me zoom in.
What he looks like doesn't matter if he's a shitty person, a shitty father.
I'm just trying to zoom. There we go. I'm going to go back a few seconds, I think.
Health related, right? Like his personal life stuff that's kind of crazy, or his business stuff, or whatever he needs my support in. It's like, no, like we're okay. So we're in this together with cancer. Well, F that, we're in this with everything. Like you're in a fight, I'm in a fight. Okay. You need to fight them. I'm fighting too.
Them as in his wife? Hell no. Are you serious? Did she just say that? Oh my God.
And I get that in a normal relationship, but who the fuck are you fighting when you're the other woman?
Oh my God.
It's not just your resources, it's mine too.
So she is going to be bankrolling his legal process in divorcing his wife. What a shitty move.
Probably trying to bully her. Probably. I fucking hope for everything that is good on this planet, on this world, whatever it is you believe in. I hope for everything that is good that she doesn't try to mess with the custody situation with her children.
Oh my God.
I hope for everything that she doesn't do that. But I would not put it past her, honestly.
The good thing is there is something in place, and I just learned about it today. If Avi submits something that is suspicious in terms of, like, once the divorce continues through and they're talking about child support, if he submits his pay stubs or whatever and it looks suspicious, like it doesn't make any sense, the court will go and actually do like more of a forensic look and see what other money he has, so it would be more fair. And so my hope is don't lose hope if he ends up doing something shady in this process of trying to hide assets, because I'm so mad right now. I'm so mad that Jessie Lee's like, we're going to get you the best lawyer. We're going to bankroll you. I mean, the person who uses Rocket Lawyer or whatever she did to Chelsea Suarez, like, come on. I don't even know what to say. This is making me so mad.
So and I just think when you feel that level of support, you realize, oh, this really is that love that people talk about. This is not just some superficial, oh yeah, he's hot, which he is clearly. Oh, he's just some super hot foreign guy. I mean, he's all these things and it's amazing and we're passionate and we're whatever, but it's not. There's, I remember when I was a kid and they'd be like, it's not just like when you're that childhood love, you'll understand when you're older. I'm like, get it now. Like, this is very different than
if this is what she thinks love is. I am so sad for her, because this is not love. This isn't love. I hate to break it to you. That's not love. A man that loves you, or a partner that loves you, period, respects you, gives you your place, does things as correctly as possible to give you your place. You know who this man loves? No one. He loves his fucking self, and that's it. Because who do you think he's in this relationship for? You?
Himself.
Nuh-uh, baby girl. Himself.
And the money. And
exactly.
And money. Yep. Oh my God.
Got it.
So, Avi, how was it, from your opinion, from your perspective, when she got that news and so forth? Like, what was going on in your mind?
Wow. Honestly, I'm very sensitive to everything that related to Jessie Lee. That, to be honest, many reasons.
Bullshit.
But as soon as we heard that, I'm like, first of all, I didn't want to believe. Like, first of all, I said, listen, no matter what it is, we're gonna get through this. But the first thing you have to do is don't jump to conclusion until you know 100%. Don't know. It might be, they say it's not 100%, it's 90%, 92%, 90, whatever. I say, okay, if there is even a 1%, we are not admit, or we are not saying anything until we know 100%. So we do it by order. First of all, we verify it. First of all, we making sure. First of all, we doing all the steps that we need to do. But the way it makes me feel, it's like I really feel that this is, it's like part of me. Like, I wanted to be there even more, and to help her even more, and to support even more, and to make sure that she have everything.
What about your kids? Do your kids have everything they need? Or do your kids have the support they need? Do your kids have the emotional stability that they need? Because, you're talking about how much that you're making sure Jessie Lee gets everything she needs. Your first commitment, in my mind, should be to your kids. And the ball has been dropped, my guy.
Also, I smell the bullshit from over here, Avi.
Yep.
And always, reminder, like, hey, how you doing? I'm here. And it just, like Jessie Lee says, it makes our relationship really stronger in that moment. I mean, since then, it just shifted, but still, I'm still in it, we're still in it, and
I'm still in it. I'm still going. I'm still like, we're still here. That sounds so convincing. The fact that Jessie Lee talked for about 6 minutes about her perspective about what Avi did and how incredible Avi was and how supportive he was, and he didn't come up with a better conning answer than what he's doing right now, I'm surprised. I've got a lot of cynicism. I've got a lot of questions. I've got a lot of disbelief that he is even whatever. Even if he, I don't even know if he's here for her, but he should be there for his kids. It's just so twisty. I don't even know what to say.
Again, if he loved her, like for real, he'd ask her, since she seems to listen to him and do everything that he wants, he'd ask her to get chemo and get the treatment that she actually needs to survive this. But in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, he's just sitting and waiting to see when she drops. And I know that sounds so dark, but at this point, I'm done giving a fuck about being polite to her, honestly.
Yeah.
I can't find it within myself to do so.
Sure.
We're still going, we're still fighting, we're still, we're doing everything that we can for each other, and because we don't need to fight alone.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
Oh, that's beautiful. Are you the worst podcast host of all time? What are you doing here, Traci? Are you serious? Like that wasn't beautiful. Like I maybe this is why I don't have a podcast. Maybe this because you can't like say like that's a bullshit. Why don't you tell me the real story? Because this like one thing after another, I've looked at other of her podcasts and it's just awful. It's just the worst.
You know what the next best question would have been? Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? Can you sum things up? How have they been going? How is her treatment going? Ask him actual questions.
Yep.
Like, how is she treating this? How are you involved in said treatment?
Yep.
That's what a good podcaster would ask, in my opinion. Now, don't give me a podcast because don't do it. I don't think I have a podcast voice. I'm too fucking loud for that. But just, I think, right? That's a good question to ask. No, it's beautiful. That's gold.
Yeah.
Ma'am, where?
Yeah, it's like, it's like we're on some reality TV show, but, just made up, scripty, awful, like real life stuff. And it's like, this cannot be real life. This cannot be real life. But here we are listening to an hour and a half podcast, and we've already done, an hour, and we have whatever this 30 minutes that we've been covering. And it's like, I don't even know, like, it's just awful. It's so bad.
It's beautiful. And it's beautiful to hear both of you say that. And I can't even imagine what that must have felt like. And I believe that it is a God's way of giving you each other in that time when you need it.
I last time I checked, I don't think God or and a higher being in general is like, yes, like that person who's already in a covenantal like type relationship or whatever the Jewish relationship is called. Yeah, taking that one and putting you with someone else, and that's stamp of approval. I don't think that is a thing,
And furthermore, put him with someone who is so anti-Semitic. Like, are you for serious right now? Like, are you? And also, doesn't it say to stone adulterers or whatever in the Bible?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's pretty.
It's been a minute since I read the book, but I'm pretty positive it's not a good thing. So what are you talking about? She should know. She says she's Christian.
Yep, they should both know. I mean, yeah, Jessie Lee should know, and I think Traci should probably know, and at least Avi should know the Torah. So, what's up? What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The math ain't mathing, my guys.
Yep.
There are people that would be like, this is too big. I can't stay in this.
Yep.
I'm going to choose to not go through this. So I think when you have something that someone's choosing with you, choosing you, knowing and choosing the struggle and choosing to be the supporter and the everything beside you through the whole thing, those are the things, again, that last forever. It's like better or worse, sickness and health, like all those things, it's real, right? And then
those
you're going to beat
vows
this, and then something else is
he made to his wife, not to the other woman, to his wife.
Yeah.
Again, had you done a little bit of research, Traci, or whatever your name is, you would have fucking known that.
Yeah. I think I'm behind on comments. Hold on. It's God will never send you someone else's husband. Hey, everyone just got here late. Welcome. We're raging. We're just, going and crying and snarking, and it's just, a cycle. It's a cyclical type of a stream we're doing here. So Oh my God.
Come up. Like life is cyclical like that. There's going to be highs and it's easy and you're skating, and there's going to be super lows.
Is the super lows the low when you serially cheat on your life and then you are in a relationship with your girlfriend for it's 10 months now, but then you're you don't disclose that to
And you abandon and don't claim your children.
Yeah, like is that the low that we're talking about here? Cuz I'm confused.
And then you build together, team up, and off you go. So it sounds like, Jessie, you got
Not
really
everything is always
Off you go to the bank.
Yeah.
in the bad and good times, in everything.
The bad and good times and everything. How specific? We are in a vague void now.
From day one, he was like, no, I'm here. So I've never even had to have the conversation where it's like, are you going to stay? Or I think he was like, I'm going nowhere. And that's
No shit. Can you imagine understanding Jessie Lee Ward's wealth and going up to her penthouse and listening on the floor and realizing that she has this whole, in my opinion, scam pyramid situation going on, and you're saying, wow, okay, maybe she's reasonably attractive and I am never, like I found my person I'm going to be attached to, and I'm being dark right now. If this is a con, and that person says I have an expiration date, and then you're like, well, I'm sticking it out because I can at least stick it out for this long, and I hope that I do a good enough job that I get some money out of it. That is me being dark, and I'm sorry.
I agree.
On my channel.
Also, he said, I'm going nowhere. You want to bet who else he said that to? His wife.
Yep.
And here we are.
Yep. Yeah, Erin is going to be doing she is going to be doing like I don't know, like a 60 minutes-esque type of live, like that level of live on this shit tomorrow with Julie Joe and potentially some other extras. Yeah. So definitely turn on Erin Bees's and Julie Joe's stream for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Same thing with him. Like he's in some storms and stuff in his life as well, and he knows. No, we're in this.
Is the storm when you were still married to your wife and abandoned your children, and then you are here in this situation? Is that the storm you're talking about? Because it's the same thing. He's been through the storms he created himself.
Like, what do you need? How can I support you? Like, we're gonna fight. We're fighting this together. This is not. This isn't you against the world or me against the world. This is us against the world, and we're a lot stronger together. And we both have that awareness. Neither of us is going anywhere.
There is no us. He is already an us with somebody else and her children.
Oh,
you garbage can.
Oh.
I think it's one of my favorite things to think, and I tell couples to think about is when there's a problem, it's you two as the team against the problem. Always.
It's you two as a team against the problem. And in this situation, the problem is Avi's marital status, which is currently married, seeking a divorce, and yet he is still married, and he is not, in my opinion, doing a good job participating in that process. So that's a problem, but you're thinking it's her health problem. Well, I mean, take care of your business, sir. And your children shouldn't be your business, but now you've made them that because you abandoned them.
If you were the great man that Jessie Lee says you are, you would take care of your shit.
Yep. 100. This is 3 young children, you absolute twat waffle. I will accept, twat waffle, acceptable usage in my chat from here going forward. So let it be written, so let it be done. I'm okay with that. Oh my God.
No matter what it is, the problem's over here and you two are together over here.
You two and Avi's wife are together over here because, I mean, like contractually, like she's still attached. Okay, like what are we doing? I'm mad because of her perkiness. I'm mad of her lack of research on this podcast. I'm angry at how bad of an interviewer she is. I'm irritated at the overt conning and bad answers and mirroring that Avi's doing on this podcast. And I'm mad that as irritated as I am with Jessie Lee, as smart as she tells us she is, the scamming-esque type of energy that's coming off of Avi, don't you think that you would have picked up on that, Jessie Lee Ward? I'm
for a matchmaker, she doesn't read people very well. Like, how the fuck do you do this for a living and charge for it? And you can't read this motherfucker?
Yeah.
Are you serious right now?
Yep.
You might want to find a different career.
Good point.
Bring that.
We had a conversation maybe like 3 months into the relationship or something where I said, and I read this somewhere, so this is not a Jessie Lee original, but me and my personal development. I told him, you just need to look at every problem like it's the ocean. And the two of us should be facing the ocean. And we're walking into the ocean together. I think I read this from a Jay Shetty book. I don't remember. I think it is though. I'm like, we walk towards the wave. The wave is the problem. It's coming this way. We face that head on.
As the Titanic. And you and him are together in the Atlantic Ocean, and you're about to hit that fucking iceberg,
which is Avi's marital papers. Is that the
just the court? The court is just
the judge.
How well this is all gonna go for his wife. That's the iceberg for me, I think.
I just find it interesting that these problems that they are talking about, sure, health problems, I get it, but health problems, yes. And also so many problems that he created for himself by serially cheating on his wife and abandoning his children. And then talking about marriage with someone else, and he is still married.
You didn't even honor your first marriage. How do you think you're going to be expected to honor a second?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Instead of this scattered thing that some people do. It's like the problem is not the entire ocean. The problem is the wave. And if you do it together, well, it's not so bad. It's, again, when somebody doesn't want to communicate all the actual issues or all the actual information of whatever the situation is. And so we've tackled all the issues. We've been just doing it head on instead of dancing around the bush or beating around the bush or whatever. But
I like that visual of the ocean too, because when you're both facing it together, you're
holding
hands.
Of course you like it. It's fucking stupid.
It's such a generic picture that you have created, and then you took from someone else who isn't even a trusted resource for anything. Like, he takes.
And I'm sorry I used that word. I'm sorry I used that word. I shouldn't have. Of course you like that analogy. It doesn't make any sense. That's what I should have said. I'm sorry. I'm trying to refrain from using ableist language or anything like that. I'll call them trash cans all day long and motherfuckers, but not ableist language.
You're like doubling up on everything in strength because you're doing it together. I love that.
Do it with smile and love it that you do it together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the happiness is palpable. I can hear it in your voice, Abby. I can taste that shit all the way over here.
On the stream the other day when y'all were packing trials and she made you come on screen and then you didn't want to smile for the camera, so you decided to walk off, and then you see her grab his hand and yank him back into the frame and so he can smile, and then that's where we got this screenshot was before she grabbed him. But you see her grab and said, no, actually smile for the camera. You're just a match made in heaven except not, because it's an eye roll. It's a frustrating thing because he's already freaking married.
Again, no respect for boundaries at all in that case with the live stream.
Yep.
You're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
That you're not doing it alone. That's actually make it even stronger, even bigger. That
From what we understand, the divorce hasn't finished, and it could have been finalized earlier than what it is going to be right now. That's all I can say. He, in my opinion, abandoned his family. There's information I cannot share. I think Julie, Joe, and Aaron are going to share some more information tomorrow on the stream. We're not doing this to spread things out. We're doing it to protect people who have shared things about the situation. So someone in their local community has set up a GoFundMe for his wife, for Avi's wife, so that she had to get a job so she can try to pay her bills and her mortgage and take her kids to school and feed her kids and clothe her kids and keep them healthy and do the best she can. And she does not have, from what I understand, the money to do that.
And she doesn't, allegedly, she doesn't have family here either. His family is here in the United States, but hers is not.
Yep.
Which is why we are taking it upon ourselves to help as much as we can. Also, can you imagine how hard it is for her to, as a mom, still continue giving her children somewhat of a normal day-to-day routine while all of this is happening?
Yep.
Hats off to her, honestly. And I wish her nothing but good things. And I hope she gets him for everything he got.
Yep.
That you smile into it and you're doing it together with someone that you trust, someone that they're for you.
Aw. Wow. So intelligent, Traci.
You guys are very lucky. I mean, it's beautiful. And people search for this. You know, I help people search for it.
Yeah.
What I see in you guys, like it's the thing people want the most in the world. And a lot of my clients are super, 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 super successful. And you can't buy a relationship. You can't achieve a relationship. You have to.
JL she's buying a relationship, in my opinion. Also, you work for this. You work to pair married men with women who don't care if they're married. Cool.
Yep.
Cool
Not
story. Good to know.
Not a good look for your matchmaking service, I'll tell you that.
The emotions and it's the feelings, and you have to do all the work internally first, so then you can come together and be this beautiful new relationship together. And also all the work that you put in when you're looking for your person. Right? There's a lot of work that goes into that, being your best self, whatever areas, however you're looking to find your people. And then you find them, and now it's not easy street. Like now it's a different thing that you're focusing on, where you're putting all your attention to if you want it to last.
Right.
So you guys have been given some hefty challenge there, but
the hefty challenge on top of the health challenge would maybe be his marital status, that he is still married to someone else. I keep bringing that up because that is such a huge part of this conversation that is not being addressed, and it makes this podcast episode just even more awful than it already is.
Yeah, she said it's not easy street. You know why the street isn't easy to cross? Because there's a wife and 3 children in the way.
Yep.
Ma'am.
What?
Having it together, I mean, I know it's going to be beautiful because you guys have each other.
You definitely can't buy it, but you can help it, to come to you. Like you said, I mean, you work on it and you understand. And first of all, you accept yourself. And
you can't buy it, maybe not with your money, but maybe with hers.
Yeah, I'm sure all of her cars are pretty nice, and living in a penthouse and not having to pay rent and not having to put your kids to sleep at night and not having to deal with the emotional fallout from you abandoning your children and not having to deal with the disruption in the emotional state and how that would impact school and how that would impact familial interactions and the additional stress on Avi's wife. Oh yeah, I'm sure it's so easy for you, my guy.
Question, are you crafting over there?
Yes.
What are you making?
My little nephew's here. Mm-hmm. And I know the author of Harry Potter is like a whole thing, but he loves
He's a kid, he doesn't know.
So I made him a Harry Potter scarf on my knitting machine, and so I'm stitching
that
it.
That is effing cute.
and he's so little, so we measured him because he wanted it. I was like, on the movie, it goes like down to their knees, but it's also wrapped thick. And I got really sick today, and I had to lay down, and he's been asking like, is it gonna be done today? Not being rude, but he was like really looking forward to it, and
he's excited. That's cute.
So yeah, I made it on my little Addy machine,
Yeah.
and it's like super thick and chunky, and I don't know.
I love that. I love that so much. I just was being nosy.
Yep.
Continue.
Maybe your wife has needs because maybe she didn't realize her husband was going to abandon her. And that's nice that you can recognize your own needs when you are just hanging out on Bumble and doing whatever you want to, when you're still in a marital contract with your wife and, you know, doing whatever the hell you want to on Bumble. But like, oh, I'm so glad you realize what you need, Avi. God.
To know your own needs and speak it.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins says, speak the unspoken. And I just love that one. I think like you have to always say it.
Speak the unspoken. Hey, I'm still married and I have 3 kids and I abandoned them in California. Is that the unspoken thing? What?
Exactly. Also, I'm not paying child support and I don't give a fuck about their needs. How about that?
Yep. Let's see. Here's the GoFundMe. No pressure. We're making it available consistently. So if you are new to the stream or you're hopping in, you know where the GoFundMe. It's linked in the description of every stream. It's linked in Karina's description. So we're good.
Always say it. If you keep it in, it stacks. Off you go. It's gonna be a mess. So how do you guys, like, obviously you're making your relationship work to many extremes. What advice would you give to a couple that's starting out on their journey?
I'll give you some advice. Maybe don't get involved actively with someone who is married. Maybe that. And I know that some guys will be sneaky about it and not tell someone if they're married. I know shit like that happens. I know that all relationships are not just guy girl. But maybe we start with that. Maybe we start with when you realize that you have stepped in the middle of somebody else's relationship, you step back. Maybe we start with that piece of advice. But I don't think that's what they're going to say.
And if you do find out that your man is married, maybe don't be an asshole about it and parade it all over social media to further embarrass his unsuspecting wife and children. Maybe don't scar his children. Is that enough advice?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Let's see.
Yep.
I mean, look, I think we kind of nailed it earlier about you have to be so real. If you want an actual relationship that's going to last, you have to drop all these walls, these masks that you wear, this, dance that you dance, this playful, whatever, like
the mask that you're wearing.
The mask of the fact that you were still married and, are still married. You abandoned your wife and 3 kids in California. Is that the mask that you had to take off or what? Like, which mask are we talking about? The fact that maybe you were just staying with Jessie Lee Ward for her money? Is it that mask that you need to take off? Because, like, I've got questions. I've got 1,200 questions. I've got a lot of questions. Oh. And if you think like we're bullying Jessie Lee Ward, I'm angry for Avi's wife. I'm angry for his kids. I'm angry that a dad abandoned his family. I'm angry that Jessie Lee, in knowing that Avi is still married, flaunts like and does little jabs of saying like, oh, I'm keeping a kosher household and I'm going to be the best Jewish blah blah, like I say blah blah blah, whatever she says nonsensically about how she's going to be the perfect Jewish wife and how she makes all these things available and she is waiting on him hand and foot and she's kissing him for extended periods of time off screen and it's all on live and it is a message. You're talking about someone who's strategic about social media and what she's doing to poke and poke and poke and poke and poke at Avi's wife. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what I am angry about. And I'm not jealous of Jessie Lee Ward's relationship. I'm not jealous of her life. I'm here in my corner of the internet and I'm perfectly fine. Okay?
Yeah, same. I'm not jealous of her relationship because no matter how good a man looks, if he is a trash can of a human being and he is disgusting to his still wife and children, that's not a man that I want.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like you say, it's pretty twisty, and I just will never understand again how, as a woman, she lets shit like this slide, and how she doesn't put herself in the other woman's like place and think, oh shit, if it was the other way around, I'd be hurt. If it was the other way around, this and that. Like, how does she? I will never understand.
Yep.
Crazy, it's like, just, you have to be yourself, because I wanted somebody that was going to fall in love with me as me, and not like, I liked that he didn't know who I was. I liked that he had no idea that I'm Jessie Lee Ward. I liked that he didn't.
There's a lot of people who don't know who you are, and there's a hell of a lot of people who don't know who I am. I get it. Like, you think that you're somebody, and I'm not saying you're not anybody. I'm saying it's multi-level freaking marketing. You're at the top of a multi-level marketing pyramid where you live a luxurious lifestyle because you've recruited people and they buy volume from the company, and you make an automatic commission off of whatever they buy it as a rep or as a customer. Oh gosh darn. Wow.
By the way, I still want to do that series where we go out in the streets and we ask random people on the street, do you know who Jessie Lee Ward is?
Oh my God, yes.
I want to humble her real quick, because I know people don't know who I am, but she thinks everyone knows who she is. I just want to ask like 100 random people, do you know who this is? Do you know who this is? And see what their answer is, just for my own personal satisfaction.
Yes, I'll be your videographer.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
It was just, oh, she's some pretty girl. And then, whoa, she's really smart. And then, wait a minute. I remember you have a really nice lifestyle. He said the first time we met. I'm like, well, yeah. He was like trying to put together the pieces. Like, who is this girl? I liked that he didn't know, because it allowed me to just be me. And I didn't have to show stuff off. And,
can I just say this? I've been lucky enough to run into people like Karina on the internet, and Beth, and Harper, and Lynn, and like people that I am building friendships with, and others of y'all, and it's like, I don't give a shit about what stuff y'all have. Like, oh my gosh, like, what do you have that makes it worth being your friend? The only thing I care about, are you a decent freaking human, and are you kind to people who can't do anything for you? That's about it.
Yeah. And to add to that, like, go off of what you're saying, we're not in friendships or relationships with each other just to gain anything, or to like, be able to say, like, I'm not friends with Erin to just say, oh, Erin is my friend.
Right.
Like, that's not how that works. Not in genuine friendships or relationships anyway. But pop off. By all means, give us relationship advice when you're in a not relationship. You're in a relationship, man.
Yep. And she drops constantly. She name drops all the time. She name drops in her $100 million mastermind. She used to name drop Eric Worre. She used to name drop like all these people. And she did this awful post where she name dropped this famous basketball player the week, or maybe even the day after the murder of George Floyd. And she just went, like, she just took him down. Who is it? Dennis Rodman. And she was just bragging on him for being drunk at whatever in the morning. And she basically went out of her way because she wanted to talk to him and get her picture taken with him for social props. And if you're that type of person, like, take an account of your own life. Because if you are trying to use people as like currency to get to the next like level or in the next room, give me a break. Like, the people aren't pawns, children aren't pawns, and when you treat them like that, it's shitty. So
yeah. And just to clarify, because I know I name drop a lot, and I just wanted to make it a point, because I know someone will be like, you name drop all the time. Listen, I don't name drop my friends and my colleagues because I want to, look who I know, or look who I talk to, or whatever. I name drop my friends all the time because I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah.
Because they don't ask me to, and because they're kind, nice, genuine people. That's why I name drop my friends all the time, because I'm obsessed with them, as friends should be obsessed with each other and want all the good shit for their friends, right?
Yeah, seriously. And it's like, it's the same thing. It's like, hey, this is an incredible video that Karina did. Go watch it. This is an incredible video that Rivka did. That'll give you some information. If you care about this information, like, it's just like, hey, watch this. Hey, watch this, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, or
And you don't have to do anything.
Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't dressed up when we first met. I just got off an airplane. I didn't, he said, oh, you look way better in person. I looked like a crazy person. No makeup, no nothing, like straight off of a dirty plane at 9 a.m. or something, but
good night.
A dirty plane doesn't fly private?
But whatever.
Yeah. Not all the time. Only when she is on what's his name? Bundy's plane, or she rents. There's one of the flat earthers in Prove It, Christina.
Oh, shit.
She does this thing where you can like group rent private planes. It's expensive, but like it's like a plane
Not
service.
for them.
Yeah, but it's like Uber but for planes or something, but it's private. She does that, so it makes it look like she's, in my opinion, richer than she is.
Couldn't be me. You know what I would do with all that money? Help out my friends that are struggling.
Yeah.
But that's just me, being a normal, decent human being.
Yeah.
The point just being, it was very real from the beginning. And I think that if you want to have a relationship that's real, then it's about being real. It's not about always being done up. It's not always about having,
it's not always about telling the person that you're married and you're still in a marital relationship, and that maybe your wife doesn't know that you're cheating on her serially. Oh, wait, what?
Perfect, whatever. There's times for that, but like, we like getting dressed up. We like doing whatever. We like playing, doing fancy stuff and traveling and seeing the world and doing the most. We like all that too, but I liked when he cooked for me for the first time. I don't think I'll ever forget.
While his children are at home with no food, no dad, his wife is struggling to put food on the table, according to the GoFundMe. But yeah, let's travel together and like live our best life. Fuck them kids and fuck the wife, right? Great, very classy.
And I see him. He says he's having a conversation in Hebrew. It sounds like he's screaming always in Hebrew. I like when he's him, maybe 2 weeks and 3 weeks or something into everything. Every time he used to take a phone call with the kids, he'd like run away into a corner. And I finally said, like, your kids are part of you.
With the kids? Whose kids?
Yep.
Whose kids?
Yep.
Constantly. Right? I'm like, you don't need to go running off into corners when you're talking, he's like, oh, really? Like, okay. I mean, it was just like little things like this where it was like, this is your life. This is my life. This is going to be.
This is their life. This is their life. And their dad is not there anymore. Like, seriously, stop making it seem like you're some savior, Jessie Lee.
Also, did you ever think that maybe he's running into a corner because he might be talking to his still wife? Again, food for thought.
Yep.
We just have to be very open, honest, and real about it, and not be fake. I think too many people are trying to be fake and perfect. Well, I don't know. Relationships are crazy. I mean, this is going to sound so funny, but like, thank God we were so real and open and whatever after the.
Oh God.
Fake and perfect, like calling yourself the #1 network marketing person of all time for years, when in reality you weren't.
Yeah.
Fake and perfect, like saying that you owned the house that you didn't own and you rented and destroyed allegedly. Faking being perfect, like saying that there was only 7 original people that you brought over from one MLM to the other, but in fact there was 15, 17, and one of them was one of my friends. Fake, like saying that you don't care about the haters, but also quoting us word for word, and not only that, but threatening us, watching our videos, blocking us because you don't care about us, right? Yeah. Okay. Should I go on? I think I rest my case. Your Honor, I rest my case.
right? Like, I'm at this hospital. I'm like, babe, I'm going to fart. Like, I can't do it. And he's like, come on, babe, you can do it. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. You know, I'm like, oh God. And then I really couldn't. But then like I went to the bathroom and it all came like tons of, you know, like I felt like a hot air, like a balloon got popped or something. But like being able to just be like, being totally human and real about every.
I'm sorry, but if you can't fart in front of your partner, wife, husband, whatever, that's not love. When I pushed out Leo, TMI, I pooped and my husband was there and he still loves me. That's love.
Yeah.
Don't tell me about a fart.
Oh my God.
From the beginning it's made this so much easier. It's just made it so much easier. And yeah, that would be my advice. What would your advice?
It's all of everything you said, so I don't have to come up with my own answer anymore because allegedly I am conning you. Okay.
But alpha male, right? And I stay in my feminine,
Yeah.
you know, because alpha male and I want him to dominate me. But he has nothing to fucking say.
Yep.
Okay, sure, Jan.
Yep. It's just interesting. When I say it's interesting, it's awful because it's like you can hear it, or in my opinion, you can see the like, oh, just what you said. Oh, just what you said. What is, and like Karina just said, like, what is so strong and like, whatever, forthright and on his own about copying every single thing that the podcaster host is saying and everything that Jessie Lee is saying. Scam?
Kirsten, I'm sorry, TMI. I know that's my bad. But also Sarah Jane said, my husband held my hand as I tried to poop after having our son. He has also caught my vomit in a plastic bag. That's definitely love.
Oh.
Agreed. Because same.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And she did say in this podcast either 20 or 40 minutes ago that I thought she didn't want when we communicated in Yiddish. I don't. She did say that she didn't want to have secrets because she can't read. Also, she can't read Hebrew. So.
Yeah. But she's in her feminine and she likes to be dominated. But yet she wants to have control of everything, right?
Yep.
Make it make sense.
Yep.
Pick a lane.
With no secrets. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and so that's really like what I want to hear from you guys is what do you want to tell the listeners? What do you want them as like the most important thing that you want them to realize in to be successful relationships?
Jessie Lee said as is. I mean, no secret, be real, and just once you're real and once you say the things and you talk about.
Did he just say was?
So
Jessie Lee was? Did
yeah.
he, or did I? Wait, hold on. Can you rewind that?
Yeah, let me just go back a little bit.
I mean, that mean it doesn't mean to be. I mean, besides that, I mean, if both of the people will be real, there is nothing like the truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nothing like to be real, because when you're trying to show or to do something like, or to show something that you're not, it's gonna come out in the end.
Yeah.
Did I not rewind it enough? Hold on.
And that comes from you have to build.
I didn't rewind it enough. I must have not. Hold on. Sorry.
I could have sworn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Relationships are crazy. You know, I mean, this is going to sound so funny, but like, thank God we were so real and open and whatever. After the colon surgery, my one job was I had to fart. Right? Like, I'm at this hospital. I'm like, babe, I'm going to fart. Like, I can't do it. And he's like, come on, babe, you can do it. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. You know, I'm like, oh God. And then I really couldn't. But then like I went to the bathroom and it all came like tons of, you know, like I felt like a hot air, like a balloon got popped or something. But like being able to just be like, whatever. Being totally human and real about everything from the beginning it's made this so much easier. It's just made it so much easier. And yeah, that would be my advice. What would your advice be for people that are?
Well, that's the advice actually. It's.
Oh, and no secrets.
Oh, and no secrets. What an asshole.
Yeah. And so that's really like what I want to hear from you guys is what do you want to tell the listeners? What do you want them as like the most important thing that you want them to realize in to be successful relationships?
Jessie Lee said as is. I mean, no secret, be real, and just once you're real and once you say the things and you talk about the things from the beginning, so you don't need to face with mask lies after that, so you solve it from the beginning. And if it's not that, so it's not that. Okay, so I mean, that mean it doesn't mean to be. I mean, besides that, I mean, if both of the people will be real, there is nothing like the truth. Nothing like to be real, because when you're trying to show or to do something like, or to show something that you're not, it's gonna come out in the end.
Yeah.
You think?
And that comes from, you have to build the confidence in that who you are is okay.
Yeah, you have to. But
Rebecca, we have to take into consideration English is not his first language.
Yeah.
So that there is, I'm sure that there is some comfort
Stuff lost in translation.
Lost in translation, also comfort in like repeating things so that you kind of have more of a secure like a foundation of starting like, okay, I know what you said, and giving some pause. I know I've been ragging on him a little bit. I think additionally he's doing this because he's in the con space, in my opinion, and in his positioning in her relationship. So he's mirroring, meaning that he's repeating to make the people around him feel more comfortable. It's giving him time to think about what he wants to say, and then he's saying generic stuff. So I think it's multifaceted. So
I think it's all bullshit, but not because he can't clearly express his thoughts or he can't correctly articulate what he's trying to say. I think it's all bullshit because, in my opinion, it is.
Yeah.
To love yourself, to accept yourself, I mean, I can tell you on myself for many years. I mean, just that. I mean, for many years, I just didn't. I was hiding. I was
Same, Ray.
For many years, I was hiding, meaning you were hiding your infidelity from your wife, because all of his kids that he has were born after he got married. That's public the public records and the math. Okay. So you're saying many years you were hiding. You were hiding what? What are you talking about?
Were you hiding, or were you hiding your children and your wife?
Good question.
It didn't. And it's definitely a personal work that you need to do on yourself. And if you love yourself,
which he does.
It's the best gift you can give to yourself. No matter from worth than any money, anything.
That's true. And that, I mean, Jessie Lee, you could probably speak to a bunch of people. Like you can't just say, I'm going to love myself. You need some mentors. You need some coaches, you need some books, you need something to help you get there. Don't you think?
Of course. Yeah. It's funny. My friend Sasha, he was doing some training and he's talking about how one thing I love about Jessie Lee is whenever she wants to learn something, she just goes crazy. He's like, right now I can tell that this is, beginning of everything. I can tell she's learning how to be amazing in a relationship because I was just at her house and there's relationship books everywhere, open all over the place. And she's just learning and learning and learning. And I'm laughing. I'm like, oh my gosh. But, I always want to be better. I always want to understand how to communicate more. I always want to have a fun relationship. I don't want to be the boring, frigid old lady at 80 years old. I want to be the weirdo who's like, we're going on cruises and dancing and being crazy or something like that. I don't know. Me with earplugs because it's too damn loud. And him dragging me on the floor or whatever. I don't think love ever has to die. You see people in these relationships that are clearly miserable, and it's why. So just reading and learning and growing and becoming better. And it's like I've anytime I hear something that I just think is amazing, I send it to him. I'm friends with Brianna Deardick. So Rob and Brianna Deardick. And
Another name drop.
they have done countless entire podcasts about exactly how their relationship is. I've sent him stuff like their number one, like Rob makes it really clear. I don't know if you've seen any of this stuff. Rob's like, my most important relationship in my life is my wife. My wife, not my kids.
I have something to
It
say.
will never be my kids.
Reading books on relationship doesn't make you any better at a relationship, just like reading books on parenthood doesn't make you any more of a better parent or like a better parent. So fuck off with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to be said for like counseling. I think there's something to be said for and the tough thing is, you know, with an actual like licensed clinician walking through and like being able to talk through stuff and not mucking about in your head without experience and the right degrees and stuff. If you only have a certain amount of self-awareness and you're reading a book and you're using it as confirmation bias for all of your own beliefs and all of your own experiences, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to utilize the tools in the books to be able to do anything with those, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you're making bad parenting decisions and you read a book and it reaffirms like your bad parenting decisions, it's not gonna like help you be a better parent either. So
I mean, Avi can read all the books he wants on being a father and it still wouldn't make him a better one.
Yeah.
In my opinion. P.S. If you're gonna craft, so am I. I'm still making pearls for my little hanging plant.
Karina made a hanging plant for her car dash, like for the mirror. Dude, I'd buy that.
Check out the rainbow. You don't have to. I'm gonna make you one.
No,
the rainbow beads
for a lot of money.
No, I'm gonna give some to my friends, but I made this one and then I just started a bigger one. This is the pot. I need to work on the actual plant.
Oh,
y'all, for this being my first time, I'm not too shabby. But
it's incredible, y'all.
Right now, I'm working on more pearls for that same
one in the chat. If you'd buy one from Karina, I'm gonna be the first to drop a one in my own chat. Okay,
I'm not that good, but thanks.
She is that good. I saw a close up. She is that good. She is that good.
It's like, because that is the woman that holds everything together. And so he lays out his whole schedule, you know, everyone has to check this out. His stuff, it's so cool. Like at the beginning of every day, Rob sends an email in details of every single meeting. So she never has to worry about what he's doing, what he's working on. He knows, sends her a love quote in the email as well. And then has certain amounts of check-ins that he does with her every single day. And then the amount of date nights that are every single week, and then also month. And then some date nights could just be like a game night at the house with whatever, just quality time. But like that.
Look at all those ones in the chat for your planting. Can you imagine?
Y'all, don't make me start an Etsy. Stop it. Stop it right now.
Peer pressure. Let's go.
That is their core.
But can you really imagine this? Your car and around your little mirror in your car, and you get in and you turn the key and you put your seatbelt on and you look a little over to your right if you live in the United States and you're driving on the left side of your car and you see a beautiful hanging crochet plant with is it a pearl succulent that you're doing?
Yeah, this is a string of pearls. It's like the easiest one to make. That's why I made this one.
Can you imagine how good your car would look with that? Yes, and tell Corinthians that my mom is going to help me go to the post office this week. I haven't been able to drive.
Yeah, I still owe Corinthians some makeup. When she watches my makeup videos. So
oh my gosh, we need a makeup.
I just also don't have a car right now. We're functioning with one car right now. And the hubby works tomorrow and Sunday, so he can be off Monday and Tuesday. So I'll try to get to the post office after 4th of July, but no guarantees.
Yep.
Relationship. That is the relationship that lets everything else flow. And so I've just been, I mean, this is again because I went on a learning binge of whatever, but it's like, okay, so it's hard work, but it's anything that's worth it is going to be hard work. So just learn how to be these kinds of things. But I really believe the transparency, the honesty, the openness, the being willing to be scared and show all your ugly sides of everything, sharing your truth when stuff comes out, total
Is having a wife and 3 children an ugly side of thing? Is that what you are categorizing that as? Because shame on you, Jessie Lee.
The
Seriously.
transparency of a cheater, that sounds like a Greek play or something.
Yes.
Wild.
I feel like I keep coming back to transparency. There's never, because I'm so transparent, there's never been a moment where he's been like, let me see your phone. I don't give him any reason to feel like that, right? There's never been a moment where he's like, I don't like whatever. And any time when he said something like at the beginning of everything, he wasn't sure about 2 of my best friends because they're guys and we've traveled the world together and whatever. And so I said, wait till you meet them. And as soon as he met them, he's like, oh, okay. So making sure he's comfortable with, with my travels or with whatever I'm doing. It's like, can you just be open? Because if you're being sneaky about the stupidest little things, you're going to be sneaky about everything. Why don't you just say, hey, I found this. Can we talk about it? Hey, I saw this. Can we talk about it?
Hey, I found when I did a public record search that you are still married, and I see birth records for 3 children. Can we talk about it? Did that conversation happen? Because I think that Avi forgot to have the conversation with his wife about his Bumble usage. Wow.
Exactly. That's what she should have used her resources for.
God.
Hey, I don't like how so-and-so comments on your stuff. Can you please not engage with that?
What a control freak. Did you hear that?
Yes. I mean, go for it.
I don't know. Maybe it's not a control freak. I get it. Block who you want to block. I try to let as many comments stay on my videos as possible. I'm not looking to create an echo chamber. There's some guidelines like, hey, if you're gonna use profanity to describe me as a person or other people as instead of using their name, that's a no-go here. But I'm not asking you to believe the same things that I believe. But what you're saying, he already is married, so it gets a little twisty when you're saying that, hey, I don't like how this person interacts with you online. Can you block them? Seriously?
Yeah. And side note, I am a repeat offender of breaking that rule. So that's my bad. But also, if you have to like control who your partner or significant other or whatever can and cannot interact with, like, and you don't trust them, then why are you even with them? Because I don't know about you. And like, obviously, if my husband says, like, let's say, right, little scenario or whatever, right? It's a makeup scenario. This is not like for real. But let's say an ex of mine reaches out. I would understand why he'd feel uncomfortable with that. Because if an ex reached out to him, I'd be uncomfortable with that. So I wouldn't have an issue. But if it's just like any random person, don't talk to them. Like, there's nothing going on. Like, you should know me well enough to know that I have never given you a reason to not trust me.
Yep.
Therefore, you shouldn't be able to control what I can and cannot do on my phone. If you have to check your partner's phone, you do you. I'm not trying to judge anybody. But if I had to do that to have peace of mind, I wouldn't be with my husband. Like, I just could not live with that anxiety of, I haven't checked his phone in a couple of days. I wonder what he's been doing.
Yep. And y'all, just a heads up, there's 10 minutes left of the podcast. In general, this was an hour and a half podcast of fuckery. So it has taken me 2 other times to get through the first parts, and then Karina has saved the day, and she tried to save the day yesterday when I was weeping my way through the midsection of this podcast, and I was on eCam, so that's a little bit of a, it's a little dysfunctional program I'm using, and we're in Restream, so we're having a great time. We're crafting, we're snarking.
We should do a craft stream together.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea. Okay, we're doing it. We are doing it.
Because like my social media is an atrocity,
Once that you went live and you talk and you say something and.
Oh yeah, there was one time where, because I always say, don't be disrespectful to your relationship. This is something I say a lot of the time. So finding out what those boundaries are that make people comfortable and or uncomfortable.
Would one of those boundaries that are uncomfortable, would that be
that you have a children and wife?
Yeah, would that be one of those boundaries?
So there was one time, months ago where I was talking, January.
Yeah.
And I was talking on live video about something that I didn't really think was that big of a deal. I was talking about how this other person, there's this guy, he's like, wow, I said something like, oh, if I was single, like he's attractive. Okay. And I said it like that in my silly Jessie Lee voice. It made him super uncomfortable. Now, we had never had a discussion where that would be inappropriate, but immediately he sent me a long message and I went, oh my God.
The guy who's been cheating on his wife for an indeterminate amount of time suddenly had an opinion about you saying that if I was single, that guy is attractive. Really? What foundation do we have to stand on for him to be able to say that to her?
You know, we have a saying in Spanish that is, it goes a little something like this, and I'll try to translate it, loosely, but it's el león piensa que todos son de su condición, meaning the lion thinks that everyone is doing the same things as him. So like preying on people and stuff, that's kind of like loosely what that means. So here's the thing. Since he is a cheater, of course he's insecure because he thinks that everybody acts like he does. But also imagine how miserable it would, I'm putting myself in their situation. Yeah. I am very openly and proudly bisexual. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. Sometimes I see a very attractive girl and I am one of those wives that I'm like, look, she's fucking gorgeous. She's beautiful. Or like, oh my God, look at her hair. And if I am feeling brave enough that day, I will walk up to the person and be like, damn, your outfit on point. Like, your hair, love it. Imagine if my husband felt that way and was like, you cannot comment on women's or man's appearance. And I do it all the time to women and men. And I'm not saying, or like just any gender, however they identify. I don't care. If you look good and you got a bomb ass outfit on, or your hair looks really good, or you got some nice ass shoes on, I'm going to tell you because I want you to feel good about it. Imagine if that was the issue every single time that I went out with my husband.
Yeah.
How miserable that would be. Yeah. Not even being able to tell somebody else that they look good.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
It's not like I'm catcalling anyone or being disrespectful. If all she said was, if I wasn't single, I find him attractive. It's not like she said, oh, if he was in front of me, I'd bone him right now.
Right. Yep.
That wasn't disrespectful at all. He made it disrespectful because of what he thought she was doing because he's the one cheating.
Yep.
So, sir, don't project onto me. Don't do it.
100%.
Like, I never realized. And instead of being like, that's too bad, that's just how I am, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I am really sorry.
You should have done.
I did not mean to disrespect you or our relationship. I don't know. Because we were still pretty new in the relationship, right? I'm like, you're right, though. I'll never say something like that again. You're right. It's not appropriate. So it's like, we just communicate through all this stuff. And I think too many people just don't want to do that. They don't want to do the hard work. And I was upset because I felt like I broke his heart, and I didn't mean to. And he was upset. Oh my God, now I'm upset. Now we're both upset. Oh, I didn't mean to. But then since then, there's, awesome. And I kind of was like, of course nothing's happening. I said it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Video. And he's like, you are missing the point. I was like, you're right. I'm being terrible, but it's
that's a really great example. I'm glad you just shared that one because you do have to be able to say that didn't feel right. You said that, and you also have to be able to say, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I hear you. I'm going to change it. It's not going to happen again. Yep. But he could have just not said it and stewed and kept it internal and waited till the next thing happens, and then you end up in a blow up instead of just addressing things.
A healthy relationship will not make you change. Someone who loves you for you would not want to change you. What should have happened here, in my opinion, and I think this is what would have happened in this house, right? I can only speak for that because this is the only house I live in, right? And this is my only husband that I got. Yeah. So what would have happened in this situation was, like, if my husband, let's say, right, he comes up to me, he's like, hey, I heard that you were sharing my story from when we started dating again, that I was no longer married and our child unfortunately passed away. That makes me feel uncomfortable. I know that he's not uncomfortable with me sharing that because also it was kind of relevant in the situation, right? But if he did, you know what I would do? I would apologize and I would not do it again.
Yep.
Yes. If it came to him controlling who I can say looks good and who doesn't, I wouldn't change that, because if that's an insecurity you have, that is something you have to work on. That has nothing to do with me.
Yeah. Yep.
So just her saying, okay, yeah, I'll do whatever it is that you want because I'm in my feminine energy and you are the dominant here and blah, blah, blah. That's not working anything out. That's you just complying to what he wants you to do. And I'm sorry, but a bad bee doesn't do that.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. And we've had some not blow ups, but there's been moments where I'm like, I'm like, why didn't you tell me that a month ago? I could have helped a little more or something. But
yes, there is.
But he's getting he's grown so much in his communication. Like he's always been a communicator, but like he said, there's been things where he's just never been comfortable sharing certain things with anybody before. And until I continue to
don't think the same.
Yeah, and maybe like the fact that he was married, was he not comfortable sharing that before? Or maybe he wasn't even comfortable. Was he comfortable sharing with his wife that he was cheating on her on Bumble? And if you listen to the beginning of this podcast, you hear how much he has been using Bumble, which is just awful.
Space safe.
Bumble is not awful. Him cheating on his wife is awful. Clarification.
Safer and safer for him. He's realized like you should never have to go against something by yourself. A strong woman makes a strong man much stronger. Like the woman is what makes a man formidable, not vice versa. Although
I'm just, I guess nobody, no other kind of partnerships exist, like, okay, I'm confused.
Powerful than with a man, but we're changing that. But anyway, men are always more powerful with women. When you find your partner who will actually go through everything with you, and he's, he knows this now, but he's really starting to realize this with some storms he's weathering.
Like his divorce or abandoning his kids, or maybe getting some pressure from this, small and big channels on social media saying, what the hell is going on? Take care of your stuff, finish your business, and take care of your kids. Who, what is going on?
Remind him, not even kidding, I remind him of this daily. I'm like, are you okay? What do you need? What are we going to do? Let's get after it. So he knows, look, okay, so you feel like certain things are spiraling. I'm never going to let everything get out of control.
Yeah. Poor little adulterer. He's such a strong man that I have to baby him and make him feel safe and make him feel okay with the shitty choices that he's made and the fact that he's ruined his children's life and his wife's life, and that he's here with me instead of taking care of what he's supposed to be taking care of. Let me coddle him. Let me make him feel like the biggest baby on this planet, because that's just what a strong woman does. She coddles her adulterer boyfriend.
Yeah.
You suck. You both suck.
This is it. It doesn't have to be your battle to fight alone anymore. And just reminding him, I think from the beginning, one of the things I said to him repeatedly, even just weeks in, I was like, you're not alone anymore.
You're not alone anymore. Let's bully your wife together.
Oh my God. Holy what do you mean? This makes me angry because he has 3 children. He was married. His family is here in the United States, or a majority of them are. He is not and has never been alone. And he came to Texas to work. And there's more information to that. But her making it seem like she is the savior, that she came in and helped a struggling, lonely, single person. That's not the case. He's married. He has 3 kids, and he has a 2-year-old, which means 10 months ago he had a 14-month-old, I think. I don't know. I can't do math. He had a young kid. And he has kids in general. But I'm just talking about like the participation in the marriage, and then how long he said he's been on Bumble at the beginning of this podcast and everything he's been doing. It's wild to hear. And if you missed the first part of the podcast, you don't have to listen to my commentary. You can just go to Lyfe Reinvented, LYFE, by Traci Porterfield. And it's episode 24. And you can put it on 2 speed and listen to this nonsense yourself.
You're not alone anymore. And it used to, it still makes him emotional, but it used to make him really emotional. I would say it because there's so many times where even strong men are just, I think they think that they're taught, I suppose, that they have to be these strong pillars that aren't allowed to be full of emotions or any of that. And that's just crazy. When you actually share your emotions with your partner, if you're a man, in a relationship with a woman, she should make you stronger. She should make you feel safe. And she should be that really that foundation, I think, that carries you through. And that's what I aim to be for him.
Okay.
And that's also beautiful.
God.
But that has nothing to do with him being a cheater. I agree with what she just said about men are taught to be strong from the beginning, and men are taught to like always be the pillars and whatever. Yes, it's up to me as a wife to remind my husband that I care about his mental well-being as well as his emotional well-being, and take care of him how we see fit. I'm not going to say how a woman should, because fuck that. We are not a misogynist household here. We are equal partners, whether I go to work or not, whether I stay home or not. We are equal partners. We raise our child equally. We contribute to our relationship equally. We support each other equally. But that has nothing to do, and caring about his emotional and mental health has nothing to do with the fact that he's a fucking cheater who abandoned his children and his wife. Yes, you're right. As women, we should remind men that their mental health and their emotional health matters too, but that has diddly fucking squat to do with the fact that you are the other woman. So let's not twist things. Don't try to pretend to be a good person because you give a fuck about his mental and emotional health. What about his kids? What about his still wife? What about that?
Yeah, and she's buffering the consequences of his own decision by like making his life as comfy as possible as well. And that is even twistier, because there's something to be said for doing wrong by people and then realizing what you did and sitting with that and fully feeling that, so that you don't ever do that again. And we don't see that here. There's a constant, oh, let me do this for you, let me do this for you, let me do this for you, because you're feeling shitty, maybe about abandoning your kids and maybe going through a divorce, and you have someone who's saying, oh, it's not your fault. You're with a serial cheater, okay? It is his fault. He has caused this domino effect, and he can sit with how bad he feels, hopefully how he's treating his kids, and potentially how he's treating his wife.
You're not alone anymore. I love that. Like, that totally touches my heart. I mean, it's beautiful that you guys have that between each other, that you say that and then you check in like that.
Yeah.
You guys shared so many nuggets. I really appreciate your openness. I mean, I feel like we talked about a lot of challenges versus like all fun, light-sided things. So that maybe that's for another day. But I think it's important to look at the challenges, and you guys hit them directly. And for the takeaways that I heard from you guys, like the main takeaways is that transparency. That's hard. It's hard.
Was telling your wife that you have been cheating on her, I'm guessing that was hard. Was pretending that you were single with kids, I'm guessing that must have been easy. And you allude to the fact that you told Jessie Lee everything, but I find that maybe a little bit hard to believe, but what do I know? I'm just running my mouth on the internet.
To it, that you're going to do it.
But just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Don't think.
Yeah.
Don't think.
Don't think, just do it. No, you think. You think about the kids that you brought into this world and that you have a responsibility to take care for. You think about that commitment that you made to your wife, and even, I know marriages end all the freaking time. Finish your commitments and let your wife go on and live her life and give her a get. And be responsible and be as decent of a human being as possible. Be as good of a father as possible. And whatever we've been seeing on that you've been showing us hasn't been it. And this podcast certainly hasn't been it.
If you think so, then you're gonna stop yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Just say it. Just say it. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah, and if it's the right person, not going to judge you. And as much as we've
The
been
worst
through
thing
like
you can
conflicts, we talked a
happen
lot
is that
about
you
that on
can cheat
here.
on your
It is.
wife for a piece of shit woman like Jessie Lee. That's the worst thing that can happen, in my opinion. But that's just me.
Ah.
I couldn't speak highly enough about this relationship. I mean, I guess you can hopefully you can tell like through the conversation.
I can't wait till y'all see. She recorded this. She recorded her facial expressions. And she does this all the time where she usurps the impact that a podcast can have because she live streams it. And the live stream has been downloaded. And I think, I hope Aaron and Julie Ju might be covering a part of it. But if you watch Jessie Lee's facial expressions during this recording of this podcast, it puts stuff even more into context because it is not what it appears to be. It does not match the words that she is saying on what we're listening to right now. It's twisty as hell.
Anyway, and whatever, but why didn't you post him for a million months? Because I was never going to post another man ever until I knew that I was going to be with him forever.
Or maybe because he was married. What? Or maybe because he didn't want to be on social media because he was still actively on Bumble and didn't want to be shown in a committed relationship so he could continue doing whatever he was doing. I mean, there's lots of other answers instead of you saying, oh, I'm never going to post another man until I know that I'm going to marry him. But you can't marry him because he's still married. I mean, I'm confused. I'm so confused.
That's the honest to God truth. That's the first thing. The second thing is like he wasn't used to social media, so that's
too long if you don't treat yourself like you're supposed to.
The man who has a TikTok, a Facebook, an Instagram is not used to social media. I mean, say what? What? Give me a break. Give me a break. Stop lying.
Why? But we have so much fun. We laugh constantly. We have amazing friendships here in Texas and around as well, around the world, from just business partners of mine and long distance friends of mine, et cetera, and his that are incredible. We have a beautiful life. We really do, and we really never go to bed angry. We make amazing compromises. We've learned each other's love languages. We have, I mean, it's
what compromises?
It's awesome. Like it really
you just
is.
do what he tells you to do. What compromises? That's not a compromise.
Oh,
and you travel and you do all this. You know why? Because he's not a active parent in his children's life, allegedly. Yeah. Because he doesn't give a fuck about his children. Because because his wife isn't like me. Because if she was, she'd have that child support on his ass a long time ago, since from the jump. I'm not saying that she didn't try. I'm just saying, again, you're lucky he's not my husband.
Yeah, and I hope that if Avi's wife is watching, that that you have a bunch of support from lots of people in the anti-MLM community. Yeah. That you have a bunch of support from people in the live chat, a bunch of support from people who have been donating to the GoFundMe, that this is a twisty situation, and we know how Jessie Lee can be behind the scenes to people who she doesn't like, and if that is the same case, and if things are being done to you, I'm so sorry about that. I hope that this can be resolved, and I hope that the social pressure, the gentle, but like the ethical pressure of saying this public information that you are sharing is twisty as hell and we're going to expose it, and I hope as many people as possible speak up about it and that show you, if you're watching, that we support you. And
and I hope you're keeping track of all of this and you're taking screenshots and screen recordings of all his offenses and all the times that they've taken jabs at you, because that's really going to help you out in court, I think. But I know nothing about the legal system. Don't take my advice. I'm just saying, if I was you, I would.
Yep. Yes, he should have been paying child support all along, and I hope that the judge slaps him for it. I hope so too.
Seeing him every single time I see him, like joyful, like childlike joy. It feels as exciting when I see him as the first. Well, it's more exciting than the first time I saw him, because the first time I saw him, I was like, he's sexy. It's more exciting every single time, and I blush. You should blush.
He's blushing.
I'm sure his kids would like to see him more. Oh wait, what?
But it really is, you know, okay, maybe it's an adult relationship. So that's why I'm like, oh yeah, let me tell you about how, but he, you know, he makes me feel super special every day. And so I try to make him feel super special every single day. And, you know, it's great.
Well, I think it's very obvious. It shines through. It shines through. You can see it in you guys. And
this podcast is so bad. I don't, so the podcast before this one on her list is her ex-husband and the woman that she set up with him after they got divorced. So she match made.
Anyway. What in the shit?
Oh, I don't even know.
The respect and the love and also the playfulness, which I think is what keeps relationships fun and fresh, right? So thank you.
Super goofy. Like
super goofy.
Yeah, you're funny. He's funny. Yeah, he really is. He's always got something silly to say. So we always have comedy relief in the house too, which is nice.
I love that. No. It makes life easier.
He makes fun of his not understanding colloquialisms of sayings that are in English, and he doesn't get it. And then he is taking it literally. And as his understanding, he's translating it. And then he says, no, I'm not that. And he responds like he was told something, and then they laugh at him about it. And so again,
they say he was a turtle.
Yes.
Coming out of his mouth.
Yeah. It was just like, you have no respect for people who are incredible, like Karina, who speak multiple languages. And it's disgusting to watch her and Courtney make fun of Avi. And I don't like Avi. I'm saying this as if you're being inclusive and you're being welcoming to people who have taken the time and are incredible and can speak multiple languages, don't make fun of them for not understanding things that are within a subsect of a language that are like colloquialisms. And it makes me mad. It just, the fact of her making fun of someone who's speaking her preferred language because she can't speak any other languages. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just disgusting.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention, because I said this the other day and someone was like, that's BS. But no, like, I promise this is how my brain works. I don't know how everybody else's brain works, but when I'm speaking, I am thinking of what I'm saying in Spanish and in English, which is why sometimes I mix Spanish and English, or I mispronounce something in English or something in Spanish, because it's like I'm thinking about how it translated, and it's weird, I know, but it's like I have two voices, Spanish and English at the same time. So that is normally why I stutter, mess up, or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of sad because I grew up with people making fun of me when I was barely learning English when I was in school. So it's kind of like a little triggering. I got over it, and I'm a badass when it comes to like translation and stuff. But not a lot of people do, and not a lot of people get the hang of like it's a culture shock, and it's not like some things just don't translate no matter how much you try. And so it's sad to see him be made fun of. I don't fucking like him, but I feel bad for him.
Yeah, and you're seeing this big influencer, and I say big influencer in terms of how many people follow her, and this behavior that is gonna, like, it gets encouraged where, oh my gosh, they're laughing at Avi because he doesn't understand what coming out of his shell means, and then he's taking it literally, and they're still laughing. And so all these people are watching this, and if they have never met anybody who speaks another language and they don't understand how difficult it is to speak another language or 3 languages or 4 languages, and there's just like, there's no empathy, there's no compassion that you're addressing like extremely intelligent people who can speak in so many different languages, and then you're degrading them and saying like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. It's like, I don't know.
It's demeaning.
It is demeaning. It's just, it's bad.
Well, thank you guys. I mean, I really believe that every relationship is unique. And I think that happy couples, they share this insight. They share their own insight on how to find and maintain pieces forever. It's forever. And when you guys sharing your happiness, your struggles, your realness, your transparency, all of that helps others that want to strengthen their relationships. And hopefully for some people that get I don't know, bummed out because they haven't found their person yet, right? There's so many people that are in that downward, like, I can't find him, that hopefully it inspires them to keep going.
I found him, but he's somebody else.
And also, like, I don't mean to be stereotypical.
Yeah, I mean,
I found him, but he's somebody else to someone else.
When there's not even any boundaries and there's nothing to deter you from Avi, like nothing deterred Avi from cheating serially on his wife. And finding out that and saying, take care of your business before we continue on with this relationship, that's on Jessie Lee too. But a lot of this is Avi not understanding the boundaries of his own marital contract. And then if he realized that it wasn't for him, he should have taken care of business and ended it instead of cheating on his wife.
There was no reason.
You are not looking. And you are.
Oh, you know how many? That's such a hard. Such a hard one.
Yep. Like it really, because I was at the point where I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I would have ended up hiring you, Traci. Like I would have been a matchmaker. It was just at the end of my rope. But you start realizing a lot of it is you just have to learn how to grow and be in relationships. I used to be in relationships where I had to be right all the time. And I heard somebody say one time, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Right. Yeah.
So I could be right all the time, but would not have the relationship that we have. So we both.
But when you're committed, you guys are committed to growth. I love that you said, like, oh, I got all the books. I'm deep diving now. Like, here's what I'm reading. Those are the people that are going to succeed. It's you have to make that commitment to growth. We are going to keep growing. We're going to be different people. Who you guys are right now is not going to be who you're going to be in another year. It's going to be like something else. So you have to commit to that growth together.
The people that succeed
and make sacrifices if you want to be in a relationship.
Adulterers. I was going to say something else, but no.
Yeah, and maybe there's people in powerful positions in government and businesses and stuff, and they're talking about success in marriage, and you're right. I don't think that adultery goes into the success column, and if you're talking about in general, like you're taking a measure of your own life, I don't think it's about money. And I really don't. I think that part of it's how you treat people, and treating you and Jessie Lee and Avi treating his wife like shit is
being a decent being a decent human being will take you places that money cannot.
Yeah. Yep.
That lasts a long time. I keep adding things. My bad. But like there's like we live in this penthouse and he wants a house with land.
Nobody
and he
cares.
Wants to build stuff and whatever. I'm like, okay. And it's
no. Oh, another example of Avi pushing boundaries and getting what he wants. Oh, yep. I don't drink. Oh, just have one. Okay, I'll have one. Oh, have two. Okay, I'll have two. Have three. Okay, I'll have three. Have four. Whatever. Oh, I live in a penthouse and I'm really happy. And you talk about how ecstatic she was about moving to the penthouse. And then he said, well, I want to have a house and some land. Well, who's going to buy that for you, buddy? Jessie Lee? Yeah. Oh, okay, we'll move. Get out of here. You get everything you want. And she is continuing to be submissive. It's awful.
The other day, I was like, all right, I'll compromise. Like we can do all this. I wrote like, we can build the big house. Ew, barf emoji. It's like, we can have, and I'm like,
no. She said, oh, we can build the big house. Do you remember when she was house shopping back in the day before she found her penthouse? I don't know when it was, but she was looking for mansions, basically in the Dallas area. And she was saying, oh, though this pricing's in wild right now. And I just have to keep thinking about it. And she was totally interested in the big house type of thing. So her pretending to be like, oh, that's so disgusting to me now, that it doesn't line up with what she's done in the past. Sure, you can change preferences, but she doesn't even say that here.
Emoji, but we'll be so happy and it'll be okay.
You might love it. You might love it. I think your fur babies would love it.
Yeah, I've had the big house before. I really hated it. I love that they do everything here for me, but that's that acts of service, so I got this acts of service over here. He says, I'll handle everything. I'll mow the lawn. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, we'll
He's not going to mow the lawn. Okay. I'll hire someone to mow the lawn. It'll still get mowed. But, you know.
But you're compromising. He's telling you what he wants and you're compromising. So there's that.
Correct.
She's
I
not
love it.
compromising.
Well,
She's
you guys,
doing
thank you
exactly
so
what
much.
he's asking
It was
her
so
to do.
fun to
That's
see
not
you.
compromise. That's not
Yep.
how compromise works.
Yep. I don't think
And you don't want to do the lawn? I'll hire somebody to do the lawn. Why can't he hire somebody to do the lawn? I thought he was a man in the house.
Yep. It sounds like Jessie Lee is bankrolling all of his stuff. And I hope it's not a situation where he is showing that he hasn't made any money for the past 10 months so that he doesn't have to pay out on child support. I hope that is not the case.
I wouldn't put it past them, though.
On here, I know I'm putting it up audio, but it's so fun to see you on here, and I love watching your journey, business and professional. But of course, I like the love part better. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you guys for coming on.
Some questions. No one ever asked me questions about this, so it's fun. Thanks, Traci.
Yes, thank you guys.
Great chatting.
And thank you to everyone listening today. If you got value from this podcast, I would love for you to share it with someone else. I really believe a small ripple of love can make a big difference to someone who truly needs it. Remember, don't be afraid to start over. You might like your news story better. We got this.
We're not freaking listening to the outro music.
This is disgusting. I hate it.
Okay, so, 3 hours and 14 minutes later, we cannot get this time back, but I hope that it has exposed even more of the twistiness that has gone on with the Jessie Lee Ward and Aviram situation.
And I know you guys are like sick and tired of talking about this and whatever, but this time is for a good cause. So if you could tune in to JJ and Aaron's live tomorrow, we will be there in the chat, doing whatever we can. We'll be sharing the link on our Instagrams too. And again, if you can't donate, cool, share the link. If you're not comfortable sharing the link, then don't do anything. It's okay. Do whatever you feel comfortable with doing. We appreciate you regardless. And again, I know it's very exhausting and like physically draining sometimes to react to this kind of stuff, but it's for a good cause this time. So we hope you can join us tomorrow.
And I say exposing. This is someone's real life. It's a mom and 3 kids, and the twistiness that has happened, that is an offshoot of additional behavior from someone we've covered in the past who has her influence unchecked. She is a top pyramid performer and Prove It. She said awful things about so many people, and she if you don't understand the extra twistiness about the situation with Avi and Jessie Lee Ward and Avi's wife, go to 𝐓𝐇𝐄. She did the Jewish community versus Jessie Lee Ward, and she gives insight into what the hell is like the additional side of like why we're all so up in arms about this. Even if you're
the way she breaks down everything about the Jewish side of things, or like for lack of better words, like the whole religious type of side of things and why this is so messed up, please go watch 𝐓𝐇𝐄's video. It is so well done, so amazing. Just let me check. I think they scheduled it already.
Yep, just really quickly, go sub to Aaron. I'm gonna link it in my chat. I'm gonna do Julie Joe. If you sub to Aaron and turn on her most recent notification, it'll be up there. So
it'll be tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Here's Aaron's link for her channel. Oh, I spelled Julie Joe wrong. God dang it.
Also, Savannah and Clowntown will be live at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. Shout out.
Heck yeah. Awesome.
The peeps.
Is it 7 Central or 6 Central?
6 Central.
Okay. Yes, 7/1/6 Central. Yeah, tomorrow is July 1st.
Yeah.
So here's Julie Joe's link. And I'll have it in my community tab, so y'all all will be able to find it. I'm gonna play the outro live chat. You've been incredible. And if you're watching this, I forgot to say it at the beginning, but sometimes hard things are easier to get through together, and opening the live chat or seeing it on the screen is great, so you can read as you're watching and know that there's other people who are screaming into the void with you about like the wrongness of this situation. And
Yeah.
I really appreciate the live chat.
Also, to anyone that has given me watch time, y'all peeps, y'all are real MVPs. Thank you so much. Thank you to shout out to my fellow creator, my content creator friends and colleagues that have also helped me out. Appreciate y'all all so much. I'm sorry that I always get emotional, but like feelings are good, okay? Feelings are good, and sometimes you just have to share something to make a point and make people realize how bad a situation can really be. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, DC, for having me on and for allowing me to invite myself time and time again. I appreciate you so much. And I appreciate that you got the crafty beat to come out of me.
Yes.
This is your fault. This is your fault.
Love it. I love it so much. Crafty for the win.
Yeah, but thank you so much for being here, guys. Thank you so much for watching, for liking both streams, all that stuff. We appreciate you so much. And yeah, thank you for being here.
Cool. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. I'm going to play the outro. Okay, goodbye.
Bye.